going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day, another week, another episode of The Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG, and on today's show, we got a lot on the docket because there's a lot of news, and because the news just keeps piling up in our Discord because, you know, everyone keeps submitting stuff and whatnot, we got a lot to talk about. So on today's show, we're going to be talking about Ginger Prime, friend of the show, and also a member of the stream. He wrote a little article on X, talk about Marathon's, Sony and Bungie's $250 million financial nightmare, a cautionary tale. So we're going to read through that. We're going to also talk about the patch notes and what it means for Crimson Desert going forward. We're also going to talk about Dune Awakening is finally making Deep Desert and Shipwreck PvP fully optional. We're also going to talk about Pete Hines says he left Bethesda because he didn't want to watch it being damaged and abused. And if we have time, we'll talk about a little bit about the co-op pirate survival game that's coming out this week. Windrose breaks 1.5 million Steam wish lists. And then we're also going to talk about Epic Games is releasing a Disney extraction shooter, it's reported. All this on today's show. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We just cover news stories, have conversations, get you through a couple of hours of your day. And then we get your thoughts and opinions as well. If you like the music in the beginning of the show, you can go to Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, iHeart, Pandora, any place you can download music, buy music. You can go check out the songs. If you just type in 30NSG, you'll find Perk Up, Press Play Volumes 1 and 2. We have a bunch of single tracks there as well. What's going on, chat? Let me see who's all here. What's going on? Hero, good morning. Apollo, good morning. Aku, Brain, Altern, Dustin, Starly, welcome back. Sarge, good morning. Who am I missing? Roa, good morning. FM Maloney, good morning. Jesse Mack, what's going on, man? Wonder Rose, good morning. Water Bear, good morning. All right, so let's get to the main topic because we try to make the thumbnail. What's going on, Argus? We try to make the thumbnail the main topic, right? We try to make the thumbnail the main topic. Get it? So if you clicked on the video because you see the marathon thing, that's what we're going to talk about first. So let's bring up Ginger Prime's article that he wrote over on Twitter. Go follow Ginger Prime. Has great content, does podcasts and whatnot over here on YouTube. I think he's on Twitch as well. I'm not sure. I don't really watch Twitch, but I'm sure Ginger Prime is everywhere. So make sure you go check out all his stuff. Check him out on Twitter as well, or X, sorry. So his X article says Marathon, Sony, and Bungie's $250 million plus financial nightmare, a cautionary tale. Now, I want to make it clear because I know people are going to see this in the thumbnail and they're going to be like, "This guy's a hater." I'm not a hater of Marathon. I'm not playing Marathon, so I can't tell you if it's good or bad. We can look at the Steam charts. We're looking at this from a business perspective. And if you're a gamer and you don't care about business, you just care about playing video games and enjoying your video games, congratulations. By all means, enjoy the video games. But here we like to talk about the financial stuff and facts and stuff. So we're checking out what's happening with Marathon. As much as people love the game, the people that are playing it, financially, it doesn't seem like it's a good thing. So Marathon, Sony, and Bungie's $250 million plus financial nightmare cautionary tale. It says, I'll be honest, from the jump, I was against Marathon from the moment it was revealed. Bungie had already burned me and a huge chunk of the Destiny community. I'm going to pause right there, right off the bat, okay? This is why I think most of the hate is coming. I think a lot of the players that are playing Marathon right now think the hate is coming from outside parties that hate Bungie. No. Most of the hate and the criticism on Bungie is from people that were playing Bungie games in the past, right? As he states here, Ginger Prime states here, Bungie had already burned him and a huge chunk of the Destiny community. And this is where most of the I hope Destiny, is destroyed type of thing, or Bungie's destroyed type of thing. Waterbear, thank you very much for the continued support, my friend. Thank you much for, how many months is that? What does it say? It says new member, but you're not a new member, that's for sure. You're like 30, I want to say like 36, 37 months in the channel, so I appreciate you very much. It says new, but I know you know it's not new. So yeah, a lot of people from the Destiny community are the ones giving the feedback or the criticism or the hate towards it. Okay, it says, with how I handle Destiny 2, the endless grind, the seasonal content treadmill, and especially Lightfall, that expansion was the final straw that broke me as a longtime player. I walked away frustrated, skeptical, and Bungie could deliver something fresh without repeating the same live service pitfalls. When Marathon dropped as a $40 premium extraction shooter, my first reaction was meh. I had zero interest in the game, and then with all the drama from the art theft, I felt the game was doomed from the start. It had a lot of other problems as well, but they fixed all those, right? If it wasn't for friends inviting me to play, and I felt that the joy that I used to get from the game so long ago. He says, now I'm genuinely enjoying my time with Marathon. The gunplay feels crisp, the extraction tension, the addictiveness when it clicks, and the world has a classic Bungie sci-fi polish. But I'm also one of the loudest critics when it comes to accessibility and long-term health. He says, as a dad gamer with limited playtime, I completely understand why so many people skip the title entirely. He says, I've lived through impossible turnarounds before, and I was there for Final Fantasy 14 1.0 before I became a realm reborn, and I stuck with Destiny through the dark days before the Taken King. Those games proved redemption is possible. The difference now is the economic realities are brutal, and Marathon is starting to down the financial cliff, and even nostalgia can't easily fix. He says, the numbers don't lie, and they're not pretty. Now, obviously, this is a couple days ago or weeks ago. I don't know when the article was written. It doesn't really say here. Maybe at the bottom of the post it does. But I'm assuming it's last week sometime. They've actually dropped even more. Actually, what we can do here, let's go to Marathon Steam charts here. Right, so there's the chart right now. And obviously, again, it's a downward trend on pretty much almost all games over time. Okay, this is a month, so 25,000 peak concurrent. Which let's go back to the article, and yeah, 25,918, 25,113. So it's not much different. They're hitting the peak, but it's slowly dropping each and every single time. It says, according to Forbes, Paul Tassi, Marathon's development budget alone hits over $200 million, with widespread estimates putting it north of $250 million before a single marketing dollar was spent. Add in Sony's typical aggressive marketing push, and some analysts are floating a total cost approaching $400 million. Now, I don't know if it's $400 million. Again, we don't know the marketing budget. I would say take half of the budget. So if it's 250, you put it on another 100. I would say maybe about 300 million. But that's my opinion, right? That's the kind of number that turns heads and fuels memes. You also probably seen Concord 3 jokes flying around, building off the disaster that Highguard and AKA Concord 2. Okay. He quotes some people here. He says, Big Daddy Marv here says, Marathon had a budget of likely over $250 million per Paul Tassi, and the majority of the player base is on Steam. And it's also been a steady decline of 106th most played game on Xbox. Even great games like Marathon can struggle to find a footing. I fear my dream of, and then he says, Destiny 3 is slowly fading from sight. Okay, Legendary Drop says, emboldened by success of Arc Raiders and giving PlayStation history with marketing and the size of Marathon's campaign, the full costs are likely $400 million all in. Right, all in all, most games, especially live service, are killed by shouldering the insane expectations in executive management. Okay, Reforged Gaming says, I called it out bluntly. He says it is highly unlikely that any marketing push from Sony or Marathon doubled its budget up to $400 million. Matching 5 to 6 year production costs in a few months of marketing wouldn't be bullish. It would also be economically insane. Yeah, I don't know if it was $400 million. Again, I'm pushing. I lean more towards like the $300 million. Right? Reforge then says, Forbes, I can confirm that Marathon's budget is over $200 million. The player numbers are headed towards the matchmaking that will also struggle to function at an accessible level. How is this sustainable? It's not, right? Back to the article. It says sales data breaks up concern. Marathon has moved roughly 1.2 million copies, which is fantastic if you're a game, it's an independent company, right? And your game costs $10 million, $5 million, and you have this. That's phenomenal. But that's not one of these games. This is Bungie we're talking about. This is a company that Sony paid $3.7 billion for, right? So at a $40 price tag and somewhat in the ballpark of $50 million in gross revenue before platform cuts, returns, ongoing server costs, Bungie reportedly needed existing player base to spend just around $200 each on microtransactions and battle passes on top of the base game, just to approach a break even on development alone. That's not happening. He says player counts have dropped hard. Steam's all-time peak was 88,000 concurrent at launch, but we're now seeing daily peaks as low as 20,000 with steady downward slide. This is bad news for Bungie and Sony. The studio was acquired by $3.6 billion. I thought it was 3. Was it 3.6? I thought it was 3.7 in 2022. Precisely, that led PlayStation live service charge Marathon. It was supposed to be a flagship. Instead, it's looking like a high-risk bet that also not delivered the returns it needed to justify the spending, especially in a post-Concord world where industry is a gun-shy about expensive multiplayer experiment. It says, I want Marathon to succeed, I really do, but here's the uncomfortable truth. The diehard Marathon purists would scream that the game shouldn't change, are likely to get exactly what they wish for, and when the servers eventually shut down. Now, he makes a good point here, right? There's two perspectives here. We've talked about this on other games as well, okay? There's the perspective of the gamer, the purist, right? And this is what he's bringing up. The purist gamer. Just take Marathon out of the equation right now. The purist gamer that loves the game that they love it because it is what it is, and they love it to what it is. And that's great. Make a game, sell a game. They made a game, sold a game to those purists. But the problem is, the purists of this game are not big enough. There's not a big enough group of purists to like this game. You can call these gatekeepers, you can call these whatever you want, okay? These purists love the game for what it is, but then there's the other side, the company. Now, if this game came out and it was very well received and there was a crap ton, okay, we're talking double, triple the actual amount of people that were playing the game there are right now, then the purist would be correct. Don't touch it. It's perfect the way it is. But now the company looks at it and says, there's not enough people that are loving our game, so what do? So they have to start changing. They have to start changing it in some ways to make it more casual, right? They wanted to make a more hardcore game, but they have to go more casual to get the bigger player base. Do they go free to play to kind of bring more people in? What do they do to compensate the people that paid $40, right? What do they do to compensate the people that paid more money for other things? All these things are going through Sony right now. All these things are going through Bungie right now, right? Unofficially, but they have to figure out something, okay? Because the purists are not funding it enough. And they need a bigger player base. The only way this game makes it, because it's a PvP game, is if the player base is there, right? This is why you look at games like DC Universe Online, right? Yes, it's an MMO and stuff like that. But the reason it lasts as long as it does with a player base of like 260 on Steam or whatever is because it's a single player game. Yes, it's an MMO, but you don't have PvP fluffing it up. You just have people in the servers playing and spending and stuff like that, and it's maintained at a low cost. Okay? This is a AAA game, completely different story, right? You have to have the servers up. You have to have matchmaking. You have to have people in there. If there's not people, then people don't want to play. People don't want to play, then people are not spending money. So it says, so what's next? Does Bungie pivot to free-to-play? Maybe, perhaps. This is an obvious question, but it's also, I'm skeptical it solves the core issue. It wouldn't. It wouldn't solve the issue. You would get a intermediate like hit, and then people would see it and go, no, it's still, because even if it's free-to-play, it's still hardcore. Free-to-play doesn't get rid of the hardcore stuff, right? So it says, but the skeptical solves the core issues. Marathon wasn't built from the ground up as a free-to-play title. The economic progression and premium price point were designed around a $40 buy-in. Slapping a free label on it might give a short-term player bump, 100%, but I doubt it would be big enough to turn things around. The system could feel cheapened, predatory, soaring through the experience of very players keeping it alive right now, right? Because you're rolling the dice, right? You're rolling the dice, chat. If the main audience, right, the hardcore audience that's playing your game and loving the game right now, that 25,000, let's just say it's 50,000. Let's just double it for the consoles. There's 50,000 people that are just hardcore fans of this game and they love it. Are you willing to risk making them angry for changing the game to get the other group to come in? Now, obviously, mathematics say, well, there's way more people not playing the game than there are playing the game. So you would take that risk. You would take that risk going, well, if we don't do anything, we're going to fail. Right? Because there's not enough people coming into the game. So what do we have to do to make it the change to get the other people to come into the game? Well, make sure that you change it enough where a crap ton of people come into the game and the people that are the hardcores don't leave because once the casuals come in, try it, and then leave, then you've pissed off. Basically, that's what's happened to the Star Wars community and the Star Trek community and the Lord of the Rings community, right? They made the changes to see if the other people would come into those franchise, and they didn't. It's a big risk to take, probably not the thing to do, but at the same time, Sony has to do something. It says, like me and other dad gamers, dip in, have fun, feel rewarded without constantly queuing up into a sweaty PvP lobby. An insurance system, some kind of unlock, safety pocket, or protect extraction gear would go a long way towards reducing friction for new or one-time poor players. Okay, keep the hardcore PvP DNA intact. Don't gut what's the core fans love, but give people more ways to play and grow the player base beyond the niche. It says Bungie has done this before. They turned Destiny early mess into a cultural phenomenon by listening, iterating, and broadening appeal they know to invite casual players into the mix. Problem with the Destiny, though, is that is a PvE game by its core. Yes, there's PvP in there, but the reason that stayed around is because of the PvE. Okay, the economic pressure is real, though, far more than 2014. If sales were stable and numbers were holding, maybe my concern could brush off as the doomsaying. Okay. Real quick.
At War to Airson Mars 8052 celebrates 37 months of membership, 37 months. Much longer than Marathon, Highgard, Concord, and Mind's Eye will last combined.
Thank you very much, Waterbear, for the 37. That's not two different accounts that you have going on there, right? That's just the thing that was there that you re-upped. Thank you very much for the 37. I knew you were up there. Right? It says, but it's not the world Bungie and Sony needs think outside the box fast. They also have to avoid another live service cautionary tale. It says, we're diving deep into to all of this tomorrow on the Gaming Roundtable if you want to be, so go check out that Gaming Roundtable stuff. It says, what do you think? Can Marathon still pull off a turnaround, or is it writing on the wall? Drop your takes below, right? My question is to you guys, right, as it is for Ginger Prime. What do you guys think? Do you think that Marathon can turn this around, right? Can they do something about, right? Because again, the game is good. The people that are playing Marathon like to play Marathon, but the people not playing Marathon have no interest. How do they get those people coming in? Do they even try to get those people to come in? Do they change the game in some way, shape, or form? I mean, again, the people that like the game, but how, right? How do you get the other people that are not interested, or maybe they are interested, maybe the $40 is too much, maybe they don't like extractions? You have to physically change the foundation of Marathon to bring these people in, because these people are not interested in what Marathon is right now. What do? Do they go free to play? Do they make it more casualified, right? I don't know. I don't think there's anything they can do, right, that they can bring in the giant amount of people to come in to make this financial. Now, can they do enough to just get it over, as I call the Concordian line, okay, where it's financially successful, okay? Do they do something to get the game where maybe they don't change the fundamentals of the game, but they have to have the people that are in the game spend enough money to get it to the point where it's a $40 game and they need to sell about 7 million copies. Last time they said it, rough estimations, 1.2, 1.5 million copies sold, meaning they need to sell another 5.5 million copies to break even, if it's all true about the actual price of $250 before marketing. If it goes up to 300 million or 350, it's whatever it is, okay, they need to sell about 7 million copies. So that means each person that bought the game at $40 has to spend at least $70, and they have to have about 7 million people do that. Well, they don't have 7 million people, right? They have 1.2 to 1.5, which means that, as the article says, as Ginger Prime says, each person has to spend about $200. Well, how fast do they have to spend the $200? How fast do you have to make the money back? There's a lot behind this. And again, if you're enjoying Marathon, enjoy. Enjoy as long as you can, because you don't know when this game will shut down. I've said it from the very start. I think it lasts a year. Because of the $3.7 billion that Sony spent on Bungie, they need this game to last. So they're gonna front it, because this is their big headline. This is a big company they spent. You don't spend $3.7 billion. This is not the Concord company, the studio. I forget what the Firewalk Studios, I think it was called. $400 million. And they didn't spend all that. but it was 250 and plus whatever they spent, and they closed the studio down. They just brought it off as taxes. This is $3.6 billion. They're not going, well, that's a write-off. No, this is a huge investment for them. They need Bungie to do something. Now, obviously, Bungie's just by name now. So what do you guys think? Does Marathon survive or change enough to survive? And does Bungie survive this? Let me know in the comment section. These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. If you like what I do here, check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, chat. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Let me see what you guys are saying. Scrolling back up. Argus says, I saw some breakdown of Marathon and the money. I saw even that the super generous, even if it hasn't made back even half of its money spent. Yeah, it's in bad straits right now. If all the things are true. Again, these are speculations. These are not official numbers. No one's ever going to tell you the official numbers. So when we talk about this stuff, it's not guaranteed, but it's just a conversation to have. Waterbear says, well, I mean, if a single-player game that didn't have the financial backing can turn around in 3 days, why can't Marathon? So Argus says 70% of the player base on Steam, somewhere around 1.3, 1.5 million copies sold. $40 pop minus 30% for all non-PlayStation purchases. Sarge says, great games don't struggle to find footing. That's right. Waterbear says, Slay the Spire, anyone? Argus says, if you break down all the numbers and assume that game only cost $250 million, including marketing, and it hasn't come close to half of its cost, and your pre-launch cost every day post-launch is. Eclipse says, I kept saying this in Discord, and console players are not going to play something like Marathon. It wasn't because it was not being mean. It was just the facts. Yeah, well, a lot of people that, when you talk about Marathon, Eclipse, a lot of people get upset. They get upset because they're like, wait a minute, you're talking about the game that I like. And again, you can like the game. We're just talking about it, the actual factual numbers here, you know? Argus says, and if they don't even meet halfway to break even pre-launch costs, if you're also ultra generous with the numbers towards them, they don't actually subtract and correct the amounts from it. Right. Craig Rhodes Jr. says, it sucks. Nobody's watching it on Twitch. I think I saw a clip. I saw a clip of, what's his name? Ninja. Ninja said this. And I know a lot of people don't like Ninja and stuff, but he did say this. I remember seeing a clip of it. He said that it's fun to play, but it's not fun to watch someone play, right? And again, when you make a video game nowadays, there are people that make video games to make it where it's a Twitch game, where people want to watch it and play. It's a fun experience to watch someone play. And then there's games that you don't want to watch people play because it doesn't look good, right? There's tons of games that have this problem, right? This is a PvP game, hardcore, and it's not fun to watch, right? I've said this in the very beginning when we started watching it. I was like, man, I was sick during the time. And I was like, thank God Marathon existed, because I would put it on, watch it, and then pass out and fall asleep. And I got better because of it. Right. So if anything, it was meant for Marathon to be made so I could get better when I was sick. Travis says, last night my mom told me she was super excited to go to see Mandalorian and Grogu. I was like, well, I'm glad to hear somebody in the marketing on that movie has been nothing. I watched a WD Pro video earlier today talking about Mando and Grogu, Travis, and the peak of people having interest was back in September. Since then, no, it's like flatline, like it's dead. Nobody's talking about it. Me and Sarge said that 2 weeks before the movie comes out, so beginning of May, that's when it'll kick in. Like May 1st, May 4th, whatever. That's when it'll kick in. Craig Rhodes says the Burnt Peanut has alone increased Rust players over the last 2 weeks, and it's one of the uptick. That's another thing, right? Arc Raiders. Burnt Peanut didn't make Arc Raiders, but Arc Raiders made Burnt Peanut, and then Burnt Peanut helped Arc Raiders. Same with the other content creators, right? Give me 1 second. Sorry. Let's see here. Aku says, Rust as a game sucks more than Marathon. The fact that Rust has more says a lot. True. Waterbed says it's going to be extremely hard for them to get newbies into the game. Every time I look into it on the Steam, it just seems so damn boring. Because it is. It's boring to watch. It really is. Maloney says, I like the game. I think 40 might be too much. I'm not sure if it was also could do another than pay strangers to keep pushing it. Yeah, I just don't think you're going to get a lot of people because the game, again, I didn't play it. I can't tell you how it feels or anything. I have zero interest in it. But watching people, I watched a lot of streams. I watched 8 to 10 hours worth of marathon streams when it came out because I wanted to know, right? And goddamn, it was boring to watch. It was boring to watch. Now I'm not saying it's boring to play. I'm just saying it was boring to watch. So it's definitely not a Twitch game or a YouTube game to watch. Eclipse says, just leave it alone. Everything you already had, put it into eventually. And while you're also doing that, making Destiny 3. Well, here, let's move the conversation a little bit, Eclipse. Do we think Destiny 3 saves Bungie and saves Sony? At this point, I don't think so. I think the interest of Destiny right now is at an all-time low. Like Marvel, like Star Wars, right? Like, they're going to do it. Don't get me wrong. They're going to do a Destiny 3. But right now, in 2026, the stock of Destiny is in the toilet right now. Jesse Max says, Marathon copies sold 1.2 is not enough for Bungie or Sony if their budget was $250 million, and they're already losing money on Marathon. This is an extraction shooter tried. Just Enough says, in hindsight, they should have made a campaign to go along with it. In my opinion, it doesn't get shut down, but it's just left to exist if they can't get the money. You know, that's actually not a bad idea, but how long would it take them to put a story in there, right? Now, obviously, in hindsight, like you said, would it have been better if they made a story? Now, I'm just going to put this out here, Just Enough. If they made a story and put it into Marathon, do you think people would give it more shit because they'd be like, why didn't you just make Destiny 3? I think it would give it even more credence for Destiny 3 than Marathon because people wanted more Destiny. People were hyped up on Destiny for the 10 years. They loved it so much they wanted more Destiny. If they put a story in Marathon, do you think people would have been like, yeah, you should have just made Destiny 3? Waterbear says, when the roguelike card game is more interesting than a first-person shooter extraction shooter, you have major problems. I don't even like card games. Remember just a couple years ago, Waterbear, Midnight Suns had a card system and people destroyed it. And for some strange reason, and it's a good game, by the way. Marvel's Midnight Suns is a good game. Card system, people hated it. All of a sudden, you got a card roguelike blowing up the fucking internet. Make it make sense. Argus says, Mike, with the numbers I saw another guy break down with all the people that bought the game to date, and every single person who spent $50 each in a microtransaction extra money, and you don't subtract any of them. You don't subtract any taxes from platform cuts. They still don't even come close or halfway. Right. They're in bad position. Maloney says, if there's any possibility, just keep going just to try to make money eventually. Sure. And this is why I say they keep it going for at least a year. Because let's just say they need to sell 7 million copies at $70, right? They're at $40, and let's just say everybody that bought $40 spends $30, so they spent $7 million, or $70. So they have the $70 of the 1.5 million people that played it. So it gets a little bit closer. Other people buy it. Maybe it's free to play. Maybe someone spends $30, and let's say everybody spends an extra $30 or whatever. It comes up closer and closer. So at the end of the run, at the end of the year, let's say it only loses $20 million instead of $200 million. You know what I mean? Like that's what it's going to do. They just keep it out there. But again, there's server costs keeping it up and running. Do they keep it going? Do they keep it going enough to get to Destiny 3? Do they have some sort of 2.0 moment for Marathon? Keep it going? I don't know. It just seems like unless you get the player base, which they're not right now, it's going to be really, really hard to... This is a loss regardless. So now, do they keep it out and make it less of a loss? Or do they try to keep it out there long enough to break even and kind of, wash their hands of it and move on to the next thing? Remember, there's still a game. Gummy bears, right? They still have gummy bears. that they're working on, whatever codename Gummy Bears. They have Destiny 3 in their back pocket somewhere. Roic says maybe make more casual PvE mode and separate from the PvP mode. I think that's the only up their player count, especially if PvP numbers have leveled out. Ugh, I think that goes into a whole nother can of worms, right, Roic? Because if they bring in another mode, now you're splitting the player base that's in there already, right? And now you have people going, well, this is a PvP game. This is a PvP game. You're making it PvE. You're going to have a whole... People might leave just because now you put a PvE mode in there. Again, do you want to hurt the player base that's there to bring in other people? I don't know. I mean, I see what you're saying, and I kind of agree with you. But again, the purists, the company's like, do we hurt the purists so we can get the other people to come in, and will the other people come in and stay? Maloney says, I'm not a corporation, but how soon do you need to make your money back? And the bigger issue is, why are the Arc Raider players not willing to jump ship? Well, the corporation, I would assume, right? Like any investment, right? When you open up a business, how fast do you need to make your money back? Obviously, sooner the better, right? If I open up a video store or a bakery, right? Based on my cost of where I'm at, the budget that I'm making of the stuff, the people I'm paying for staff, right? I have my budget. I know I'm going to lose money in the beginning. How much time? Is it 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? Now, that's for a business. Now, for a video game, they want to make their money back as fast as possible. A movie wants to make its money fast as possible. If it took a year and a half to make a movie, 2 years to make a movie, they want to make that week 1, week 2, week 3. And if they don't make it in theaters, then they go to you know, the DVD rentals and stuff like that. That's why the movie industry is struggling, because they don't even have that anymore. The game industry is the same. People are not buying. Games are too expensive. The budgets are too high. They want to make that money back, I would say, in the first 3 months, to be honest with you. First 3 months. If they are profitable in the first 3 months, they would be fantastic. Again, a business needs 2-3 years. They worked on this game for 5 years, 6 years. They need to amp it up as fast as possible. I would say 3 to 6 months is how much time they need to make money. If they do not make their money in that time, it's a lost cause. If it makes its money, then it lasts longer and longer because they can just keep making more money, I would assume. Argus says they are, however, numbers that are also agreed upon by people that have confirmed contacts with Bungie. Yeah, Paul Tassi and other people have said this as well. Oh, I think it's like watching paint dry, Maloney. I think it's like watching paint dry. Honest to God. And again, it's no shade. There's some games I like watching. Other games I have no interest in watching this. I would assume you do because you are playing the game. So you know what's going on. But from an outside person watching the game, and I know games. I'm watching them. I know what they're doing. But I just don't give a shit. Let's see. Also, FM Maloney, you've been playing Destiny, right? You've been playing Destiny the entire time. I stopped playing Destiny 4 years ago, 5 years ago. So you're much more invested in Bungie than I am. And again, I know my bias against them. I don't like Bungie anymore, right? That's why I'm not buying their game. I have no interest in the game. But I generally wanted to watch it and go, all right, well, what is it? I don't like it, but let me watch it to see what it is. It's boring to me. Just Enough says Midnight Sun's good, but sucks because it is an XCOM. True. It is good, though. It is good. What's going on, Jason? Bungie. Jesse Max says Destiny 3 won't make it through and make Bungie any money. Destiny 3 will be in the same old shit game like COD. I know Destiny players will also play Destiny 3, but other players will stay on Arc Raiders. I don't know if the people would play... I don't know. I think people are playing extraction shooters are... Don't get me wrong. There are people that cross over. I just don't think that your statement, you're saying that, oh, Arc Raider guys are going to just jump back over. Again, if Destiny 3 comes out, that's a PvE game with PvP. Arc Raiders is an extraction PvP, PvE. Obviously, they could change it where there's PvE and stuff and just PvE, but we'll see what happens down the road. I think they will. They'll add it. But I don't think it's the 1-to-1 ratio of people going over. Let's see. I think they will eventually use Marathon's PvP system for Destiny 3. That way PvP in Destiny becomes better, and they use the dedicated servers. I think it would be fantastic if they did, but I think that's why they're getting shit on so much and why people are not giving them their money to go play Marathon. Because people for 11 years were asking for dedicated servers for Destiny, and they refused to do it. They asked for so many things about the PvP inside of Destiny, and Bungie refused to do it. They stopped supporting the PvP, right? About 4 or 5 years ago, slowly started bringing it back. Remember, they went from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2. At a point, they were going so hard into PvP that we thought they were actually going to make a esports type of thing, because that's the way they try to market it, okay? And then they abandoned it as fast as they could because people didn't want to watch the esports of Destiny. So then they just abandoned PvP, and then they make this game, which is a PvP game, and they're like, well, how come we didn't get dedicated servers? How come we didn't get this, right? So now I think it's a little too late. I think they burned that bridge with their own community. So I don't know if they, even if they bring it over, I don't think people would care. They're like, yeah, too late, too little, too late. There's other games out there. They had the world, right? Bungie had the world. When they had their live service game, nobody else could make a live service game that even came close to them. Everybody was trying to make what Destiny had. You can see it. Hence why Avengers came out. Avengers tried to beat Destiny, and they fucked that up. Then you had Suicide Squad. They fucked that up. Transformers game got canceled. They fucked that up, right? There was so many games that were trying to be what Destiny was doing, and now that ship has sailed. They had so much time, no competition, and they just sat on it and did minimal viable product. And now they're trying to recoup that, and now everyone's like, yeah, sorry. But that's just my thoughts. All right. Travis says, rumor, we're getting a Transformers War for Cybertron remastered 30. I know you're going to buy it day one. Be like, woohoo. My rule for this. Again, I talked about this a couple weeks ago because we saw the rumor. If they come out with a remaster, I don't care. I own the original, and the originals are still fantastic. They're fantastic. Right now, you can go buy those games and play those games. Those are fantastic games, the Transformers games. Devastation, War of Cybertron. What's the other one? War of Cybertron, and I can't think of the other one right now. But those three games, and they're all in the same franchise. The third game in the War of Cybertron series and stuff is terrible. But Devastation and those two war games, phenomenal. Waterbear says, games that should have been top-tier games of service failed. How the hell do you fail with Avengers? Jason says, Crystal Dynamics, that's why. I mean, we've talked about that on the show, right? I think Smash TV Remake as a modern-day extraction shooter would be interesting. Big money, big prizes, right? I buy that for $1, right? What's going on, Kylo? I think if you bring in... I think they should just bring in the people that made Ascent should make Smash TV Remake. They did... If you guys have never played Ascent, it's a top-down twin stick shooter. Phenomenal game. It was on Game Pass for the longest time. I don't know if it's still on Game Pass. Phenomenal game. Right? If you've never played that game, highly recommended. Highly recommended. All right. I've been playing a lot of different games, but I've been playing, obviously, you guys know, Crimson Desert. Okay. We talked about last week how people were complaining that the Endgame, there's nobody there. Guy complained he had 360 hours or some shit. 360 hours. Paul Tasky said he had 250 hours. People were complaining that they killed everything, and now there's nothing left to do in a single-player open-world game. I'm just going to let that sink in for a second. 306 hours, 250 hours. Another person had 200-something hours. They started complaining that there was nothing left to do, which is a good thing, I guess, because they love the game so much that it's a compliment to the game that they're like, I just want to keep playing your game. I just want to keep playing your game, right? Let me what's the quote? Help me help you, right? Help me help you, right? I forget what fucking movie it is. My brain's completely gone now, right? But help me help you. The player base is like, help me so I can help you. I want to play your game more, but you need to help me by putting stuff in the game so I can play your game more, right? They don't want to go play another game. They want to keep playing Crimson Desert, right? I'm about 150, 160 hours in to Crimson Desert. I'm loving it. I love just going around. I'll get on for like an hour and I'll just mine, get my resources, right? I'll do another time where I just do some faction quests. I'll do another time where I just explore, right? I have no inkling to try to finish this game, right? I'm not trying to beat the story in any way, shape, or form. I'm still, trying to do stuff around the map. That's the way I'm playing. Obviously, people don't play the games like I play or like anyone else plays, right? So they just want to play the game, beeline through it, complain about it, and then go on to the next thing to complain about, right? I'm enjoying this game. With those people complaining that there's nothing to do in the end game, they've listened, which means there is a problem and they want people to stay in the game longer. So what they've done is in the update that they have, right? The dev update that was posted on April 9th. Okay, today's what, the 12th? Today's the 12th, so like 3 days ago. So on Friday is when the 13th today, right? So on Friday, or Thursday night, I think it was, right, they posted this. It says, fellow Greymates, it's hard to believe that it's been nearly 3 weeks since the first welcome to Pywell. Over the time, we've been closely following your adventures, discussions, and feedback, and working on the next game to Crimson Desert, an even more enjoyable experience for everyone. Especially love seeing stories that you've also been creating across Pywell, and yes, including many adorable cat screenshots. And we also want to give a special shout out to those who are earning the Pywell Legend trophies and / achievements. You have sincerely admired watching everyone's journey unfold since the launch and mean a great deal to us, and we're truly grateful for the dedication and support. Today, we're here to share a preview of some of the new features and content currently in development, shaped the feedback, including variety of content for those looking for ways to enjoy the game, more ways to enjoy the game, and those who want further challenges themselves. Our goal is to roll these updates gradually from now, April, through June. So the next 3 months, these are the things they're going to bring in the game. Okay, new content and features. We're preparing for new challenges so you can continue testing yourself throughout the journey across Pywell. Okay, boss rematches. A powerful boss and encounter across Crimson Desert are waiting to challenge you once again. With boss rematches, you'll have the opportunity to face off against the boss again. Test how much you've grown. They'll further refine your own combat style through different strategies and approaches. I want to know how they're going to do this. If it's going to be like a playlist and you can just click on them, because if it's on the map and you cleared out a section and you happen to go back to that castle, are they just going to be there again? And are they going to be there where they did the boss fight, or do you have to fight all the guys around it again? I just want to know more about that, okay? Reblockading, okay? It says, pieces fleeting, and darkness does not retreat so easily. Enemy remnants are waiting for their chance to reclaim literal locations, drive the forces, and they have seized the locations once more and continue proving the strength of the Greymates. This is basically what Division 2's done. We talked about this, where the cleaners and stuff keep coming back. I'm fine with this in Endgame. So once I'm done with the story, right? So let's just say I haven't completed the story yet, but I've completed all the other stuff. I don't want them to come back yet. You know what I mean? But once I beat the story, so not like a new game plus, hopefully once you beat the story, it enacts this. Because I don't want this happening while I'm still playing the game. I just want to clear the map and whatnot. Because I will get super fucking distracted. Okay, if I haven't beat the game yet, and they just keep repopulating and the stuff I just cleared out, like, I will never get the game done then at that point. At that point, it becomes a live service game, because it's like, holy shit, they're back at that base, they can't be there, right? Because the less you fight them, the more they spread across the map, and they take over stuff again, and then you're just kind of doing the treadmill thing. Right? So hopefully this doesn't kick in, the reblockading, until after you're done with the main story, at least in my opinion. Okay? Difficult settings. A difficult setting feature will be added so that everyone from Grey Mains to more advanced can enjoy the adventures at a level suits them best. You'll be able to choose from easy, normal, and hard difficulty. This obviously is a no-brainer, right? A no-brainer, because easy, medium, hard, we talk about this all the time, right? People that make Dark Souls, they don't want to put an easy mode in there. The players don't want an easy mode in there because they know they'll use the easy mode when they can't beat a boss, right? It's more for stopping them and challenging themselves. But these guys are making a single-player game open world, and they're like, well, how do we make more sales? What about if we make an easy mode or medium mode and just have people play whatever they want? And they're like, that sounds good, right? Because the business just wants to sell games. So they want to try to sell as many games as possible. So they put an easy, medium, and hard mode difficulty there. Okay. It says, we're also working on new combat-focused content, so stay tuned. It says, improves to character play. New skills for the two other characters. We'll fully understand your feedback about them and have the skills comparable to Force Palm and XM Force. To address this, both characters will receive new abilities equivalent to those skills, right? So they're not giving them those skills, but they're giving them equivalent to those skills. It says, hide back weapons, a new option to hide the weapons on your character's back would be added in certain equipment worn on your back, won't break immersion during combat. It's such a minute thing, but holy Christ, I hate the fact that I don't want to wear a shield on my back because the shield I have is literally the size of my guy. I have this giant shield and it literally covers my entire back. So all I'm looking at the entire time is this giant shield on my back. And I'm like, bro, right? And you can't get rid of it. Even if you take it off, it's still there. It's like, what are we doing? So they're putting this in, thank God, okay? It says, addition to new outfits and characters will be added. Additionally, certain outfits can only be sold or donated to be updated so they can also be worn. Quality improvements and life features, new specialized storage. This is huge as well. Okay. They said, we heard 30NSG is still playing the game and that he's a hoarder and he's one of the worst hoarders ever. So we're putting this in for him. This is called the 30NSG patch for me. Okay. They are making a food storage. We plan to add new food storage from which is directly taken out the ingredients or used in cooking when preparing meals. You'll also be able to do ingredients from both the food storage and your inventory. There's a wardrobe storage. A new wardrobe storage will be added so that you can also store your headgear, armor, gloves, and footwear and cloaks. There's also the gatherable storage. A new gatherable storage will also be added from which you can also directly take out of, which use temporary of crafting the storage, right? This storage will be able to hold variety of crafting materials, including insects, stones, ores, and more. And collecting storage. A new collecting storage will also be able to give you a place to keep quest items tied to your adventure, along with recipes and other items you've collected on your journey, which is fantastic, by the way. It says pets and mounts, more summonable mounts and new pets will be added. Also, in addition to existing horse tack sets, dedicated armor for your mounts and also being planned. Last night I was playing. I came across, I don't know if it's a legendary, right? Because again, I'm not looking up stuff, but I fought a lion. I lost, but I found a lion that you can mount. Like you can train, like you can make him a mount. And I was like, what the hell? Okay. So now I know where he is on the map because it popped up on the map as a legendary. I think it has the actual like picture of the lion on the map. Okay. And now I want that lion. I want that lion. I want to ride a lion through the countryside, right? So that is my goal, right? So that is my next goal, to get the lion as my mount. And now they're going to put more. They're going to put more ones, okay? System graphic improvements, UI improvements. The improvement will also be adding minimized font size adjustment options since Crimson Desert supports 14 UI languages, fully optimizable features across them. Will also take some time, but when planned to introduce the first and help make the game more comfortable to play. Okay, improve controls. Controls always needed just a little bit of tweaking. Okay. It says improvements to distance scenario quality. Okay. It says working on the enhancing the realism of distance background so you can enjoy Pywell landscapes to greater depth. Please note that this patch size may be somewhat large due to the improvements to how distant scenery changes with quality of rendering under different conditions. Take a look at the image below to preview how Pywell will look after the update. Okay, let's see. That's very, very minute. You can barely see it going across. It is more detail. This game is gorgeous. Even on my Xbox Series X, I'm sure people on the PlayStation or PlayStation 5 Pro and also the PC are like, better, but holy Christ, right? Again, I don't have to compare it to anything. On my screen, I'm like, holy shit, this is so good. Okay. It says, and those who also missed the announcement will be releasing Crimson Desert OST. OST will be available for free on Steam, which is the soundtrack, by the way. So there you go. These are more updates that are coming out to make the game even better. Okay. Also along with quality of life stuff. I am absolutely loving this game. Loving this game. I started playing with Demian. Is that how you pronounce her name? I got her decked out. I did a boss fight with her, man, and she wasn't leveled up. God, that was fucking brutal. That was brutal. I was beating my head. I didn't want to do a Palmer pill, so I just kept retrying and learning and doing it. Holy Christ, it was so hard that I had to quit, go back to the base because I remember finding a different weapon. Gave her that weapon. I don't even know what it's called. I think it's called a darkness or something. So one of the swords I have, it shoots this like giant ball out of it, and it does massive damage. So I brought that back with me, started doing that. She's slower with it, but it does way more damage. And I got into this rhythm where I was just stun locking him and doing it. And I brought enough food with me to complete it. But boy, was it rough. I couldn't change the skill points, which I don't know why. I think the last patch they did changed something where I can't change the skill points now. Because you could reset all the skill points, and I would move all the skill points over to the other character to use the character. I couldn't do that. So I was like super underpowered going on this boss fight in chapter 9. And I was just like, holy Christ. So it was good, though. It was fun. It was fun, but it was brutal with her. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. Jesse Max says, I love Crimson Desert's music in the game. One of the soundtracks is when you're also free roaming around. You got to hit the Scottish music. And I'm buying the game when it's on sale for sure. Rival Lion. What level is Kojima in this game? Let's see here. What's going on, Mr. Z? Rain pouring down on and off of the rooftops. Amazing immersion. I just had that happen the other day where I had a torrential downpour. The light was like this fog around me, so I couldn't see anything. And then when the rain was coming through by the light, I went up against to get out of the rain. I went up to this house and I saw the rain hitting the roof and just like pouring off the roof. I was like, bro, this is insane. And it's got to look better on PC, obviously. Jesse Max says, I loves my games to be very challenging, difficult. When I played Crimson Desert, will be on the most difficulty to make the challenge experience. See, a lot of people like that. Other people don't like that. And that's great to have, if you want to get good, maybe you want to start off on easy, then move it up to medium, then move it up to hard, you know what I mean? To give yourself some of the boss fights, man, if you just take your time with them, this game is not a button masher by any means. Not a button masher. It's a combo, right? So if you're doing your main attack, you're holding RB. If you're playing on controller, then you switch it up with RB and RT. Then you go with the left trigger and then Y and B, whatever. Like you're doing all these different combos and stuff. It feels so good. It doesn't feel like that early on in the game, but later on in the game, it almost feels like the Batman game, where you're just linking and cutting back from between different enemies. The worst part about this game, which I don't know how they fix it, is the camera. The camera, it's just so hard because there's just so much stuff. Okay? So what I've been doing, it all depends on where you are. I was fighting this witch yesterday, which I lost, but I had to clear the forest around before I got to the witch. I had to clear the forest out fighting all these guys because there was so many trees and the camera was getting locked onto the trees and going around and I couldn't see a goddamn thing. So I would do the R trigger RB to do the powerful slash to just knock the trees down so it was clear so the camera could move. I shouldn't have to do that. I shouldn't have to prep the battle area, right? But it's so hard because the landscape is so beautiful and whatnot where you're fighting. Sometimes you activate the bad guys and you got to run somewhere to pull them in a clearer space because the camera gets stuck on everything. That's the worst part about this game. Wire says, I'm going to go roam around and look for more weapons. I like her playstyle, but I definitely need more weapons for her. I just made this mid-chapter 8, so playing her as at the moment. I'm just a little bit past where you are. Just a little bit past where you are. El Dente says, on PC, you don't only see it, but you can feel it. It's not a roll sim. You can roll, but it's very sluggish. So if you tap, you'll just do a little slide. But if you hold, you'll do a roll, right? But you have to unlock it in the skill, I believe. All right, let's go from that to the next topic. I kind of want to go. Yeah, let's go. We'll do this. We'll do the Dune Awakening. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We just cover news stories, have conversation if you like it, show the support, appreciate it. We're a very small channel. Try to get to 3,000 subscribers. We're at 2,700 right now, so I do appreciate everyone that hitting that subscribe button. I'm also trying to interview more people. Right? We haven't done the interviews in a while because, well, it's not my fault. A lot of people just don't get back to me with the interviews. So again, if you guys know a content creator that you maybe would like to see, Aku, thank you.
As a dedicated Souls player, that camera is amazing. I've lost fights in DS games because of the camera. Haven't had the same issues in CD.
No, I can't speak because I don't play the Souls games. I don't want to say I've lost because of the camera in Crimson Desert, but it's definitely a problem that they have to adjust. Thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. But yeah, we're trying to get. This is how it works, chat. Right? If you guys want, and I've been blessed because we've gotten content creators that give me a chance. Right? We've gotten Jay Shockblast, who was well over 100,000. Usually what happens, people that are higher up don't give anyone lower a chance because there's no benefit for them, right? We got Greg Owen. Greg Owen's over, he's shooting past 100,000. We got the Wiz, the Wiz, the real life fake wizard. When he was on the show, he had I think 27,000, 32,000. He's surpassed 117,000 right now. Kingert. He was low, and then now he's at 57,000 subscribers or something like that, right? So a lot of these guys gave me the opportunities to interview them, Ginger Prime and stuff. So there are a lot of nice guys out there, nice people out there that will give me their time. Other people won't because of the subscriber count. They're like, yeah, sure, I'll come on your podcast. And then they look at the channel and they're like, oh, Paul Chatto was another one, right? Paul Chatto was a gracious to do it as well, right? So it's nice to see people give me a chance, but a lot of people won't because the subscriber count is low. And I want to do more interviews and stuff like that. And the only way we can do that is to get the channel. So as much as you can, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It helps you. Obviously, if you're already subscribed, you can't hit the subscribe button again. Don't make fake accounts, please, because that just hurts the channel more. So, all right. Dune Awakening is finally making a deep desert and shipwreck PvP fully optional. Does this sound familiar? We literally talked about this when we were playing the game almost a year ago. Before it came out, we were talking about, I said that they're going to have to do PvE type of stuff because there's certain parts of the game that are locked behind. If you're not with a group or your PvP, you're going to get ganked by a group of people. I said they will change this. Okay, so here it is. It says self-host servers are also coming as well. So when you purchase through the link, oh no, that's the different thing. Okay, it says after spending the better part of a year standing down at edges of Dune Awakening, PvP system Funcom has finally decided to throw in the towel. In a new developer update on April, Funcom said becoming clear it needs to rethink our approach to underline the PvE first nature of the game. So it's also disabled all PvP zones in Haga Basin and adding separate PvP and PvE instances for endgame players. Effectively mandatory PvP in Dune. You know what this means, by the way? it means there's more PvE players playing than PvP, right? If they don't fix the PvE problem in Endgame, they're going to leave. So they've made the PvE, right, more dedicated because they're like, PvP players are there, but our bread and butter is the PvE. Okay, so effectively, mandatory PvP in Dune, Awakening, Deep Desert, Endgame Zone. Basically, if you want to get the real cool stuff, you have to risk getting ganked by other players. It's amazing to me. It's amazing to me that I can predict the stuff before it actually even play the game. Over a year ago, I predicted this stuff. Okay, just a couple of weeks after Dune Awakening launched its goal, it's not to force PvE players to interact with the PvP system. They may have no interest in it. And just days later, it's split into the Deep Desert in half, leaving the northern half of the PvP enabled, while the southern portion was made PvE only. But that didn't stop complaints after more tweaking and tuning through the multiple subsequent updates. Funcom has seen enough. Okay, with over 80% of our lifetime players exclusively engaging with PvE. Dun, dun, dun. Look at that. We did it again, chat. The more you know. Right?
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
People keep telling you PvP is the main mode. I'm sorry, it's not. This is why I talk about Marvel Rivals making a PvE mode, right? Yeah, obviously PvP and Marvel Rivals is the main mode, but a lot of people are playing against bots because they don't want to play PvP because they just want to play the characters. They just want to learn the characters. This game, they just want to play the game. You know what I mean? Like, this is what they want to do. So it says 80% of lifetime exclusive engaging with PvE content, the coverage of PvE and PvP, particularly in the Deep Desert, didn't align with the objectives remain significant topics of the discussion, Funcom wrote in today's update. Combining our goals, the in-game data and the results of players' surveys made it clear that we needed to rethink our approach to underlining the PvE first nature of the game. Now, I want you to know, okay? I want you to know, Arc Raiders is going to put a PvE mode in this, right? They will put a PvE dedicated mode, which we know now in Marvel Rivals, because hello, people who want to buy the game and play the game on their own terms. They don't want to sit there and go, well, I just spent 80 hours to get to the end game and I got ganked by a group of people because they're starving, right? And again, I've said this before, PvP players like to go against people that are not as good as them. They just want to shit on people. I've said it in Sea of Thieves. I've said it in other games as well. They just want to pick on people that are lower than them so they can get their stuff. They don't want a competition, and when they do, they leave because they actually don't want PvP. They just want to dominate PvP, hence why people cheat and stuff. Okay, it says Funcom said some of the issues have been addressed with the new repeatable gameplay loops added in Dune Awakening Chapter 3, and 4 bigger changes are on the way. It says all PvP zones in Haga Basin will be disabled across the official worlds. All official worlds will have separate Deep Desert instances you can choose from. A PvP instance for pure survival, exploration experience with no player combat. There is no PvP in the instance across any of the rows, including shipwrecks. Okay, a PvP instance is a classic high-stakes environment in the open-world conflict across rows B through I. And to make sure that rewards match the risk, the yield from the mining spice harvesting is multiplied by 2.5 in the PvP 2.5 in the PvP areas. Okay, I never understood this. They're trying to make it more like, oh, well, if you pay PvP, you're going to get 2 times the thing. They're like, yeah, it's not worth it. I'm okay. Okay. By separating these experiences, will allow players to hunt for spice to explore Imperial testing stations without the constant threat of Blade in the dark, while also ensuring those who also live for a thrill of the hunt have dedicated areas to prove their mental and the rewards to make it worthwhile, Funcom wrote. This is almost like what Jesse Mack said. He likes to play on the most difficulty levels to get more difficult. People that like to play PvP games, right? That's the difficulty. That's the slider. They're like, you know what? I'm going to go in a PvP area. I'm by myself. I'm going up against a group of 4 or 5 people, and some people are very good at it. Other people suck, and they just don't want their time wasted, right? The PvP overall isn't the only big change in the works. Dune Awakening is also getting self-hosted servers that also let players run their own private servers with unique rules and customizable settings, beginning with these things like resource harvesting rates, adjustable limits on base building pieces, and limited durability and pay decay options. Funcom said they're releasing the features early to get feedback and warned the initial iteration of the self-hosted servers is both experimental and little technical, requiring a computer running Microsoft Windows Pro with Hyper-V in order to run the servers in Linux virtual machines. Okay. It says you'll also need a reasonable, capable PC to do the job, particularly with regards of RAM. Hardware requirements are very based on how many players are playing, and this is obviously for anybody else. All right. Funcom warned, however, the CPU and the RAM demands increase rapidly with the number of players. It almost makes it sound like they just want a co-op game, right? A co-op 4-player game. So there you go. So Dune Awakening is changing for a PvE type of game. Remember, this was an MMO in the beginning, and they switched it to a survival PvE, PvP type of thing, and now they're switching it just morely to a survival PvE. Going from that to the next story, which is amazing because the co-op pirate survival game Windrose breaks 1.5 million Steam wish list. Now, not to say that they're all going to buy it, but there's 1.5 million interested in it, which is about the same as of right now as Dune Awakening was, right? About 1 million or whatever. 700, what was it? It was like 1 million? Yeah, it was 1 million people that liked Dune Awakening and paid for it. This is early access for Windrose, and this was also an MMO game that they've now switched not to a PvP, PvE game, but to a solely single-player / co-op experience, like a Valheim meets, what's the other one I'm looking for? A Valheim, like, not Rust, because Rust is multiplayer. Well, it's like a Valheim. There's another game I'm trying to think of, but I can't think of. But basically, it's a survival game and also like a Valheim, okay? That's what this is. Sort of like holding your hand while you're also playing the game and stuff like that. It's not super brutal, but it's also has some sort of, I guess like a Minecraft, I guess, right? Yeah, I guess it is like a Minecraft because you're making stuff and building stuff. But you saw how Dune Awakening, right? You see all these games that were like these MMOs, these wide open games. Look at Crimson Desert. Crimson Desert was an MMO in the beginning. Then they switched it to a single-player open-world experience. Dune Awakening basically is a single-player open-world experience. And now we have Windrose, which was a multiplayer MMO, which is now a open-world single-player experience. But yet people will tell you, PvP is what's keeping video games alive. It's amazing, huh? It's amazing that more people just want to play games the way they want to play games to respect their time. We'll read this in just a second. Let's see. To some people, PvP is a harassment. Sometimes, yeah. Waterbear says, what time does it come out tomorrow? I think 9 a.m. it comes out. Ron Slusher says, single player is resistance right now, or renaissance right now. Roic says, after playing the demo of Windrose, I added to my wish list. It's really good. Yeah, it's fantastic. I have 15 hours in the demo. I can't wait to play it. Tomorrow night, I think we're going to play it. Tomorrow night, we'll play Windrose on stream. Travis says, single player has never left. It was a myth of the idiotic companies that said because they didn't want to keep making single player games, but they really, reality, it was never stopped. Oh, yeah, obviously we know that, Travis. Obviously we know that. All right, so if you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We just cover news stories, have conversations. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're on our way to 3,000 subscribers. We do appreciate you very much for hitting that subscribe button. All right, co-op pirate survival game Windrose breaks 1.5 billion Steam wish lists, and good news for everyone who has added it to their wish lists. It's coming out next week, which is tomorrow at the time of writing. This is on April 9th when they told this. Okay, it was just over a month ago. Windrose crew asked for more time to cook on the upcoming pirate survival game Windrose because despite rolling out a new trailer, they just weren't ready to announce the release date. But when it was also this is now courtesy appearance as of today, Triple I Showcase, that we now know that Windrose is sale early access in April 14th. Now I think it's $30 if I'm not mistaken, early access. Now I do not recommend. Okay, we talk about broke, buggy, and unfinished games. This is going to be a broke, buggy, and unfinished game because it's an early access. If you're a person that doesn't like early access, do not get the game. See, I like the fact that early access gives it at a discounted rate because I would surely rather pay $25, $30 for a broke, buggy, unfinished game, knowing that it's a broke, buggy, and unfinished game, than paying full price, telling you that they've worked on it for 7 years and that it's going to be an awesome game when it comes out, and then when it comes out, it's broke, buggy, and unfinished. We'll talk about that after this story, okay? So just know going into this This is not a full-fledged game yet. This is an early access game. You're paying at a smaller price. Okay, so Windrose takes what the developers call a classic build craft survival formula into an alt history age of piracy, filled with the vast procedurally generated biomes, filled with hidden mysteries, handcrafted dungeons, and quests. It's playable solo or with up to 4 co-op cohorts, but it's no Sea of Thieves, apart from its more lifelike visual style. Windrose promises intense combat, engaging exploration, and land at sea, with resources to be gathered based on the build, and NPCs to be hired, and settlement to grow. Despite the disappointing lack of hurdy-gurdy and celebratory vomit, Windrose made a very big impression on the PC gamer pioneer pirates Chris Livingston, who played 7 hours of the demo and came away wanting more. He's also far from the only one. After surpassing 1 million Steam wish lists in February, Windrose Cruz says it figured out is now over 1.5, with, according to Steam DP's calculations, make it one of the most wishlist games on Steam. Okay, so I'm excited for this, right? I talked about this when I played it. Okay, I'm not sponsored by them in any way, shape, or form. I'm never sponsored by anybody. When I talk about a game that I'm passionate about, it's because I actually like the game. I have 15 hours inside, or close to 15 hours, of the Windrose game. I would be playing more. I went back and played the demo, even though I did everything in the demo. I went back and played more so I can upgrade my house and stuff. When it comes out, this will be the game that takes me away from Crimson Desert. Now I'm playing 3 open world games right now. Okay, I'm almost done with the base game of Roadcraft. I completed the 9th of the 10 maps, or 8 of the 9 maps. I'm on the last map now of the standard game. They have DLCs, they've added more, but I'm on the standard game, and I'm on the last map. It takes about 10 hours, 12 hours to do each map or whatever. So I'm on the last map that I casually play that. Okay. I haven't played Hightail in a month and a half because we've been playing other games and then Crimson Desert. Crimson Desert, I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to finish the story anytime soon because they're making so many different changes inside the game that I'm going to continue playing Crimson Desert off stream, on stream, whatever. I'm going to be playing Crimson Desert for the remaining months throughout the year. And now I'm going to be playing Windrose, right? Windrose, I feel, though, they say by themselves, actually, I'll bring it up real fast. Let me go to the Steam page. Let me go to Windrose's Steam page. Because they say on their actual site itself, what do you get in the early access here? I read this on the GXG on Thursday night, but why early access? Let's read about it, right? Where is it? Okay, why early access? Windrose is a big, complex game with a lot of potential, additional features, and gameplay systems. We believe that the early access version is a solid foundation. I've only played the demo, and I can tell you it's pretty goddamn solid. It's much more solid than Starfield right now. Let me just put it that way. Okay. And the best way to build upon it is let the players embark on the adventure they see and what else they want to experience in the game. That's called respecting the time. Okay. Approximately how long will the game be in early access? Okay. Now imagine if a AAA game told you that the $70 game you're purchasing is going to be broken and buggy for the next 1.5 to 2.5 years, which they don't, and which they are, right? Or which they are. Okay, this is telling you, we believe that it will take about 1.5 to 2.5 years to reach the full version release. Okay, so going in that this is not a complete game, but it's also not full price. Okay, it says, how is the full version planned to different from the early access version? We plan the full version will have around 50% more content, more biomes, bosses, enemies, ships, loot, etc. The story is supposed to continue unfolding into an epic adventure with satisfying finale. And that said, we also want to explore additional gameplay systems, not just adding content into the existing one. Okay. It says, what do you currently get in the state of early access version? Windrose is a fully playable survival adventure with optional co-op, depending on the various factors, and main story will take around 50 to 70 hours to complete. The early access version. Okay. But this also may be very, depending on the playstyle in the terms of content and features. Early access version contains 3 biomes with unique main and side quests, crafting recipes, enemies, and bosses, scattered across 30 procedurally generated islands with over 90 handcrafted points of interest. 3 playable ships, naval combat, and boarding actions, fully functional building systems with several distinctive building styles, crafting and upgrading character progression with the stats and talent, armor, weapons, and equipment combinations, Tortuga, town, factions, and their quests, as well as the basic reputation system and NPC works. What will the game be priced differently during the early access? Yes, we plan to increase the price of the game once we release in full version. Okay, so between now and a year and a half to 2.5 years, they'll be adding more stuff and they'll still be at a cheaper price. So you don't have to get it now in any way, shape, or form. Okay. It says, how are you planning to involve the community in the development process? We are collecting feedback of the official Discord, Steam discussions, in-game reporting tool, and surveys. We will have a general plan for future biomes, bosses, and story arcs. Players' feedback will also be crucial to determine the content and aspects of the game we need to focus on. And we determine to listen carefully and work hard to make the journey exist for everyone. Now, I do find it kind of weird. It's on my wish list because I'm not signed in here. I do find it weird, though, that they don't have a price yet. Which is like, yes, the game's not out, but I do know it's like $30, right? I do know it's $30. But it is kind of weird that they don't have a price yet. But it comes out tomorrow. So they're just going to drop it tomorrow and say, hey, it's $30 or whatever it is. Maybe they're still trying to figure out what the early access price is. I don't know. We have 2 Bethesda stories we're going to talk. We have a bunch of things we're going to talk about. I kind of want to bring up Starfield a little bit since we're going to be... Yeah, it might be $39.99. It might be. Let me bring up the... Is this it? Yeah, this is it. Okay. Because we have 2 Bethesda things going on here. We're going to talk about the Pete Hines stuff. And then right now, Starfield. Okay, Starfield is out. Okay, so going from Winrow's early access, right? They're telling you straight up, okay, that the game's in early access. So early access means broke, buggy, and unfinished. And I can tell you from the demo, it was much more polished than some other games that I've played. Starfield, I played, okay? Now, I didn't pay for Starfield. I forget what the site that I used to use, okay, 2 years ago. They give codes out, okay? So the company gave me a code of Starfield, okay? And I played Starfield, and I played 246 hours. I enjoyed Starfield, okay? Starfield, by any means, is not a shit game. It's a good game, okay? But there was problems with Starfield when it came out on PC and Xbox. Here we are, 2.5 years later, okay? Because it came out in 2023, right? 2.5 years later. And Starfield now launched on PlayStation 5. Or I'll just say PlayStation. Okay? And it went on PlayStation, and it's having serious crashing problems. This is mind-boggling to me. Okay? Now, obviously, it's a discounted rate for PlayStation because it's 2.5 years old, and they also get the DLC and whatnot to it. But do you see what I'm saying here? We have, on one hand, early access coming out and telling you, hey, this game is early access, and you're going to be paying a cheaper price for it. And you already know going in that this is a broke and buggy game that they're going to be fixing or finishing over time. Hytale, same thing. Early access games, Slay the Spire, even though people are loving it, it's still an early access, right? And it'll change over time, but you know that going in. You know that going in that it is an early access, so they could change it over time. Then we have Bethesda. We have Starfield. We have AAA games all over the place coming out with a full version. $70, $60, full-fledged game. Here it is. And yet, Starfield on PlayStation 5 is running into some serious crashing problems. Amazing. You ask for me to pay for your game. And again, I'm not playing it on PlayStation, but people are buying it on PlayStation. People are asking for refunds on PlayStation. Okay? And they're not getting refunds because they played for over 2 hours. So Starfield players on PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 Pro reporting significant crashing issues following a recent launch on Sony's platform. It's not the PlayStation debut of Bethesda would have wanted for Starfield, and players have quickly taken online forums to report problems and they're having with the game. Now, after over 2 years of Xbox console exclusive, Starfield finally arrived on PlayStation 5 on April 7th, 2026. Since the release, players' reception of the RPG have been divisive. But Bethesda's title of the PlayStation 5 launch still came with a ton of hype. It's number 6 right now, basically, on the PlayStation Store. 6th best-selling game. Now, I don't know if that means it's selling hundreds of thousands or millions of copies, but it's 6th on the actual list. Okay? So Starfield's feature exclusive with PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 Pro, which takes advantage of the DualSense controller capabilities. Despite this, players will still running into some serious issues right now, rendering the game almost unplayable. Okay, imagine waiting 2.5 years, getting on the game, paying for it because it's day one now, right? It doesn't matter. It was on 2 years on a different platform. It's now on your platform. You buy it thinking, well, it's been out for 2.5 years. They have to have this thing flushed out and fixed, right? Wrong. Okay. All right. Starfield crash issues rampant on PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 Pro. The Reddit thread started by user Shogun Raw raised some serious issues with the Starfield PlayStation 5 port, describing crashes every 2 minutes with no fix. They've already tried deleting saves, switching performance models, and re-downloading the game entirely, but it's still getting the crashes, resulting in an experience that describes as unplayable. Right? Many others in the thread report having the exact same experience, both on the base PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 5 Pro. It's not just direct crashes to the home screen either. Some are finding that the consistent small freezes are also forcing them to close the game entirely and running into the entire experience. Now, remember, people will describe this to you. This is the same thing that was happening in Crimson Desert, which not in the same ballpark. Crimson Desert having issues because people didn't like the control scheme compared to what's happening to Starfield or Cyberpunk or Fallout 76 or Battlefield 2042. Not even in the same ballpark, okay? One of the big problems is that we doesn't appear to be consistent on what is causing the freezes. Oh, fantastic. Nothing players have tried has fixed the Starfield crashes problems on the PlayStation 5, and there's no consistency in what gameplay element actually caused in the first place. Some have already asked for a refund, having been too disappointed with Bethesda's open world RPG. Others were also willing to wait for an update in the future, but were skeptical of the developer delivering in any timely fashion. This is why I tell people, do not pre-order. Do not buy day one. Do not buy week one. Wait for people to come out because you're just going to save yourself headaches, time, and money. Okay? I'm not telling you not to buy the game ever. What I'm telling you is do not pre-order games any longer. Do not buy day one. Do not buy full price for a half-ass game. Here we are. People bought the game 2.5 years later. Again, day one on your console of choice. Okay? And there's problems. Now, you as a customer should have every right. If the game is broke, buggy, and unfinished, unplayable by many, you should get your money back. Okay? But what's happening is people are not getting their money back because some people are being told that it's Bethesda's fault. And Bethesda's saying, well, it's Sony's problem. And nobody wants to say anything. And they're all just, right? Which is bullshit. Bethesda has not yet responded to community reports of Starfield PlayStation 5 crashes. However, given how many players were claiming refunds for the game, it's difficult to imagine that the studio isn't aware of the difficulties players are also facing at the moment. While there's no timeline for the fix, of course not. Of course not. They already have your money. Bethesda is committed to releasing the new Starfield updates on PC and Xbox Series X and S over the last couple of years. It is a positive sign that these issues will eventually be addressed. The fact that eventually be addressed is more credence to do not buy broken, buggy games. Okay? This is why I have basically, as you guys say, my theme song, stop buying broken, buggy games. Okay? Do not give them your money day one. Do not give them your money week one. Wait for games to come out. Let the population of reviewers, YouTube content creators, play the goddamn thing. Let them tell you if it's broke or buggy and save yourself headache, time, and money if something's broke and buggy. All right? So there you go. All right? Starfield, if you're looking to get it on PlayStation 5 after all these things, just stop. Stop. Do not buy. Do not pass go. Do not get Starfield on the PlayStation 5 or 5 Pro anytime soon. Okay? Take that money. Take the money you were going to take to buy this game and put it in a bank account. Right? Play on the stock market. Do anything else with your money that would actually make money for you instead of giving it to them and then waiting 6, 8, 12, 18 months for the fixes to happen. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. If you like what I do here, check out some of the other videos. Thanks for watching. Mr. Z says 45 NSG eventually. F you. Let's see. Jesse Marshall says, wow, but that's a game with bugs. Who would have thought, right? Right? Titan says, classic Bethesda. We have a song. We have a song for it. We have a song. If you're buying broken, buggy games, you blew it! Right? It's up to you. Just stop it. Stop it. Do I have a stop it? No, I don't have it. I thought I had the soundbite. Jack says, what's going on? Jack says, I wish Bethesda cared. They're going to hear that needs to be done and won't address of it. No, they'll do it, but in a slow manner. Why do they have to do it? Right? Imagine if the thing doesn't sell. Right? If someone's not selling something, hell, let's just take it. You're in a farmer's market. I'm not doing a food analogy. You're just selling a product, right? As the day goes on, no one's coming to your stand, right? No one's coming to your stand to buy your stuff. What are you going to do? Well, you got to start doing something. You might stand out and start flipping a sign or something to get people to come over to your stand to go, hey, what do you got here? You're like, we got the goddamn best whatever I'm selling, okay? They're going to have to change their style to sell it to make sure that you know about it and it's actually a good product, okay? If they don't sell it, they're going to push and try to sell as best as they can. These developers do not, or I shouldn't say the developers, these corporations do not need to fix anything if you give them the money up front for a broken, buggy product, right? They're like, hey, what are you selling here? I'm selling you a piece of shit game that's not completed yet. Would you like to buy it for $70? And you're like, sure would. No, that's not what they're saying. They're like, we're selling you a space game with 1,000 planets, and it's so good, and you can do anything you want in this open world game. You're like, sounds amazing, right? Remember, we just went over the story of Windrose, early access game, telling you that the game is going to be worked on for the next year and a half to 2.5 years. They're telling you up front, early access, half price game. Starfield's telling you, here's a full price game for this base great experience that you could have that everyone else has been playing for 2.5 years. Here you are. You buy it and it doesn't work. That's called a scam. If it's done on purpose or not, it's a scam. Your product doesn't work. Mr. Z says, come on. These are not bugs. This is a lazy, over-bloated dev teams. Whatever it is, don't give them your money. Jack says, I tried to load up Starfield yesterday on my Xbox, and it didn't load my game, closed my game, reinstalled it, did the same thing to the update, the Tracker Alliance mod, and was able to to load in. Do you have, I'm just asking, do you have other mods that were in the game before this update? Because the update went through, because of the free lanes, because of the Terra Armada, and whatever else they put in, might have fucked up your game because of the mods that you have. Now, is that Bethesda's problem for Xbox and PC? No, because if you downloaded a mod, and I'm not saying you did, I'm just asking questions. If you had a mod on those things and it's not working correctly, it might be because they did the update for the free lanes, which the mods haven't been updated, so that's why it's probably not working. What's going on, Tarnish? Folks still buying day one, huh? Seems the lesson is never learned here. It's amazing, isn't it? This is why, again, in order, I say stop buying, like no pre-order, no full price, right? Or no pre-order, no day one, no full price for a half-ass game, okay? So let's look at, if Crimson Desert was broke, right? I didn't pre-order it, right? I did get day one, but I didn't pay full price. Okay, I paid $27.98. Okay, so the problems that they had there, I can forgive it or be leeway with it because it's, to me, I paid a third of the cost of the actual thing, right? Or half, a little less than half. Okay, early access games like Hytale and stuff, I know going into it that, one, it's not full price. Two, I know it's early access and I know it's going to be broke. AAA games, the no pre-order, no day one, no full price for a half-ass game replies to the AAA gaming experience. The AAA gaming experience is a lie, okay? Most games come out broke, buggy, and unfinished. They sell you at a full price, and people just keep buying it. which is amazing to me because there's so many people that review games, write about the articles and all this other stuff, and yet people still buy it day one. I don't know why. It's like you're so impulsive to buy. You're like, I'm so bored. I got more things to do in my life right now than anything. I'm so bored, I have to get the latest, greatest, unfinished game for full price. It makes no sense to me. If you just wait 6 hours after day one, you'll have 20 articles. You'll have 1,000 streams of people playing the game where you can ask questions, look at it, see if it's good, and then make the purchase. Let's see. Imagine if GTA 6 launches broken buggy, the game market might crash again. Maybe. Maybe that's what we need. Waterbear says the gaming market is in full tailspin. Remember the Western Jank Call of Jerez, was it? Oh, God. Yeah. That was a bad game. Jack says, I had a couple of mods and they corrupted my saves and achievements weren't working. So I had to go back from level 28 to level 14. It sucked. Yeah, but that's because of the mods that you decided to add in, right? And that's the problem. Every time Bethesda does an update, right, it fucks up the game because they're like, oh, we're going to put this update in. And everyone that has a mod has to re-update it again, right? That's the problem. So that's not really a Bethesda thing, but the Bethesda caused your problem because of the update they did. Sarge says, I don't even care about GTA 6 week 1. This is how beat up I am. I'll just wait. It's not going anywhere. Yeah, I'll be honest. If it comes out in November this year, obviously there's going to be hype. People are going to talk about it. We're going to look at it and go, oh my God, this is amazing looking. I have so many games this year, just between Hightail, Crimson Desert, and now Windrose, that I don't have to buy Grand Theft Auto or play Grand Theft Auto this year. Especially as a content creator on YouTube. Unless you're doing like the role-playing stuff, and then you like take off with that. Other than that, there's no reason because as a content creator, unless you're already established in the where people watch your content, you play in the game, no one's going to watch you because they don't want to get spoiled for the story. And then only when they're done with the actual story will they start watching people play the online stuff. Altern says, I'll play with early access games as long as they are indie games. Aku says 30, unless you're a marathon, then you have to wait months for the actual review. He's on Xbox, Titan. Sarge's on Xbox. He's got PC and Xbox. If you're playing with the mod and did not start with a specific save for the mod, oh well, yeah, you're gonna get fucked up. Lesson learned, by the way, if you have multiple saves, make sure you have multiple saves of the thing that you're using with mod, without mod type of stuff. 100%, Ray. GTA 6 will have the same issue and no one will say anything. That's correct because that's earned, right? Because they're so large, right? And no one will say anything. It's almost like it's like a celebrity. Right? If someone does something at a club, let's say you bring in a drink, right? They're like, hey, you can't bring that drink in here. And they're like, oh, okay. And then a big celebrity walks in with the same drink in his hand. They're like, oh, come on in, sir. Right? And they just let him in. That's Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto has the public perception of, they can do whatever they want, right? Grand Theft Auto is the Frank Sinatra of video games. Right? Grand Theft Auto can just do whatever it wants, and it could come out broke. It could be a buggy, and people will be like, oh, my God, did you guys see that? It was amazing. But it earned it, right? It actually earned it because of all the great games they've made over the years. It's not right. It's not right in any way, shape, or form, but that's what's going to happen. Altern says, you can play every single survival game and the rest of the year, hell, you can play No Man's Sky and you're set for the entire year. Oh, for sure. For sure. Maybe we'll go back later this year. Maybe. I doubt it. Let's go on, Roadkill. Roadkill says, let's go. Smash that like button. Let's go. Let's hit that like button. Listen to Roadkill. Running an excavator today. Bro, I want to do what you're doing right now. That sounds like a blast. put the headphones in, listen to me as you're operating a big machine. Fuck yeah, that sounds awesome. Travis says, calling it now, GTA 6 releases in the worse condition than a trilogy definitive edition. I don't know about that. That would be awful, wouldn't it, though? Mr. Z says, PC, you can at least back up files elsewhere. You can do imports. If you do multiple saves on your Xbox, you could do it. Yeah, I saw the hacks, Jesse. I saw the hacks. It's not really the game. It's not Grand Theft Auto. It's Rockstar, and they said that they didn't have a big data breach or anything like that. Nothing of importance. But we'll see how that works out. All right, let's go on to the next thing, which is Pete Hines. Right, since we talked about Starfield. I bet Roadkill. Roadkill says it's so fun running the excavator, just ripping trees out right out of the ground. The power fantasy all day, boys. Yeah, that sounds fantastic. I love getting any kind of machinery, anything. You know what? Real quick, I'm gonna grab some water. Let me get some water. I'll be right back. I'll give you guys some music for a little bit.
We paid your price, you played your lies. Hundreds of millions just to catch our eyes. Every AAA, another hollow show. You build your towers, we burn them slow. Then clear obscure came with nothing to prove. 10 million fresh blood, a whole new groove. No stars, no gimmicks, just hard and fight. And suddenly your rules don't feel so right.
Hallelujah, we testify. Expedition 33 opened up our eyes. Glory to the players, we won't compromise. Hallelujah, real games never die.
We're done with your greed, done with your hype. Yeah. You lost our trust, we took back our lives.
Expedition 33, you flipped the scene. Showed us the dream was always clean. We told you so, we called your bluff. Your empire's hollow, and now it's tough. Expedition 33, we see the truth. No need for hundreds of millions to capture you. We told you so, we know the goat you stole.
The game is ours, and we want more.
Hallelujah, we testify. Expedition 33 opened up our eyes. Glory to the players, we won't compromise. Hallelujah, real games never die.
You told us, pay full price or fall behind. We chased your trailers, your shiny design. But Claire and the crew, they took the risk and gave us a world that finally feels bliss. We've had enough of your endless grind, your flashy boxes and hollow mind. Now we cheer for the ones who dare to make a game that's truly fair.
All right. Let's go back to this other story here. If you guys like that song, you can go download it, stream it off of any of the music sites out there. That one is called the Testify to Real Games. All right. Pete Hines. Pete Hines, he left Bethesda because he didn't want to watch it being damaged and abused. Well, sorry, Pete. You're still watching it being damaged and abused, just not in the company now. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers. Let's see if we can hit 3,000 subscribers by the end of this month, huh? I doubt that's going to happen. We haven't hit 3,000 subscribers in 3 years. But Pete Hines says he left behind Bethesda because he didn't want to watch it being damaged and abused. So for an awful lot of years, Pete Hines was the face of Bethesda Software or Softworks. For the game journalist, first, as the company's marketing and PR guy, the later the publicly on large when Bethesda started holding its own standalone showcase at E3. In terms of public awareness, he was pretty much the number 2 guy behind Todd Howard, and he was the company for nearly a quarter century and made enough of the impact when he also left. He was a pretty big deal. For a few years down the road from his departure, Hines sat down with an interview because his contract ended, basically, you know what I mean? So he can talk about stuff. With Fireside Chat Gaming covering a range of topics from the early days of Bethesda, the first credits in studio, listed on Moby Games, including writing the manuals of Sea Dogs, PBA, Tour Bowling 2001, IHRA Drag Racing 2, and also a little something called Morrowind. He's also what's been doing with himself with all the free time he now has on his hands. Hines also shared some thoughts on the final months of Bethesda, and he has prompted him to leave, something he says didn't particularly want to do. And while he doesn't speak the name Microsoft, it is not difficult to connect to make the connections to make. Okay, he says, "quote I was stating there because of this place still. I was staying. Jesus Christ, I was staying there because this place still needs me." Hines said in the decision to leave. He just hit the point of yes, it needs me. I'm powerless to do whatever I think it needs to be done to run this place properly, to protect these people, to maintain what worked so hard to create, which is incredibly efficient. Well, run video game development and publisher. Well, just putting it out there. You were there when Starfield was also made, and Starfield also came out, and it wasn't that good, regardless if Microsoft bought it or not. And when I was unable to do that, I thought the job should involve and continue to have that place to be, if you're not most efficient publisher in the game industry, it was also a way to fuck up there. And then when he also couldn't protect it, I saw how it was getting damaged and broken apart and frankly mistreated, abused, whatever the word you want to use. I said, I'm not going to sit here and watch this happen right in front of me. I mean, that means he was powerless, right? He couldn't do anything. Because I would try to fix it, but obviously he probably looked at it and said, I'm just a small cog in the wheel. Microsoft acquired Bethesda in 2020. It was what at the time of the biggest blockbuster game acquisitions of all time. It still is. Really expected to dwarf the public concessions of Microsoft's subsequent buyout of Activision Blizzard at $69 billion. At the time, Hines described the pairing as a perfect fit in Bethesda's announcement of the deal. But 3 years later, shortly after the release of Starfield, he retired just days after Microsoft changed the Xbox Studio structure to bring Bethesda and all other ZeniMax subsidiaries more directly under the Microsoft control. Hines cited that the release of Starfield was the culminating point of his career in his 2023 retirement message, but it turns out that he had to wait longer to expected for it. He says, I was waiting until after Starfield, Hines said. I knew I was leaving the year before. Every time Todd delayed Starfield, I thought, fuck, I'm here for another 8 months. So he wanted out. He wanted to get out of there, right? He says he bears Howard no ill will. And in fact, they're very clear throughout the interview that he holds his longtime Bethesda partnership in the highest esteem and credits him for making the final stretch at the studio tolerable. Todd was the only one who knew about Hines leaving, he said. And the other reason I love that man, he's also showed up for me when I was just at my wit's end and got me through that. He also got me out of there in a way that still retained my sanity. Now, it sounds like that Pete Hines basically was just kind of fed up and done, right? Like, and it's not good to stay somewhere where you're just, and this is no ill will towards Pete Hines in any way, shape, or form. We've all felt this way in some way, shape, or form with any job that you're in. Okay? It doesn't matter how in love you're in with that job or how much you hate that job. When you first get a job and you find that passion that you love, right? I'm sure there'll be a day that on YouTube, I've been doing this for a long time, 10 years, okay, that there'll be a time where I look at this and go, I'm kind of over it, okay? 100%. Just like everything else. If that's 15 years, if that's 20 years, whatever it is, there'll be a moment in time when you're at work and when you wake up and you go, I hate going to this job, right? At that point, you don't even care anymore. You're just collecting the check, but you're not happy, right? You're not happy. You're just kind of over. You saw the wizard, basically, right? You play a video game until, right? You love a franchise until that day comes and you're just like, I'm done, right? Food analogy incoming. I love pizza until you're done eating pizza, right? You're like, I had pizza 10 times this week or 10 times in the month. You're like, I'm tired of pizza, right? It sounds like he was just done way before he quit. He was done before, okay, It sounds like he was done before, well, I would say about 2 years in after Microsoft bought it. He saw that ZeniMax wasn't ZeniMax anymore, Bethesda wasn't Bethesda anymore, and he's just like, I don't like working for this, right? That freedom, and you actually hear other developers talk about this, like when Bungie sold to Microsoft, and then they basically, got out of there. They hated it, so they all sold their parts. And this happens to all companies, right? Pete Hines seems like he was just done. And the only reason he was there is because, contract, and he just hated it, and Todd helped him through his sanity, he says. He says that's far the only time Hines expressed genuine affection for Howard in the interview. He also said despite Bethesda games sometimes being janky or buggy, Howard and the studio as a whole deserve respect for leaning into the level of game complexity everybody else runs away from. Okay, he doesn't really say much more into this. But it's interesting to see that I would love to be a fly on the wall to hear something that happened, right? I'm assuming it's that because Bethesda would put all their games everywhere, even though they've always had a long-term relationship with Microsoft by putting games on Xbox and stuff like that. The day came when they're like, no, we're doing Starfield and we're doing it exclusively for them. That probably was the straw that broke the camel's back, right? He was just like, this is bullshit. You guys said we wouldn't do this. You guys said that when you bought us that, again, I'm speculating here. I don't know if this has happened. But it probably was like, this is bullshit. You guys told us that we were going to have this and we were going to be sold everywhere and whatever. And now they are, by the way, but 2.5 years later. And it was completely against what Bethesda stood for and stuff, right? So I don't know if this is what it was, but Pete Hines was the front guy. Even though he was number 2, he was always constantly probably one of the better PR guys out there for all these other game companies out there. Like you see a lot of community managers and PR guys that just don't know what the hell they're doing. Pete Hines is one of the best ones out there, right? Really knew how to get his way through, right? You can almost see Pete Hines taking over a company and being like the CEO for sure. Okay. I could see that happening in the future. I don't think he wants it, but I could see someone going, hey, Pete, you're interested in it all depends on what company it was. But once you lose the magic, man, once you lose that sense of like, what am I even doing here? They're not listening to me. There's no really point for me to be here. I can see why he was like, you know what, I'm out. I guarantee you it was because Microsoft put that line of it's only on Microsoft, it's only on PC and this, and it's breaking them apart because they would have sold more, obviously. But here's my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you think? What do you think broke it for Pete Hines? Was it the acquisition of, Bethesda being bought by Microsoft? Was it Starfield being taken away from PlayStation? Was it changing what the game was to maybe fit a Game Pass type of thing? What do you guys think, right? Obviously, there is no right or wrong answer because we don't actually know the real answer. We just know that Pete Hines was done and he was just fed up and was like, every time they delay, I got to stay at this company a little longer. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, let me see what you guys are saying here. Mo says, Pete Hines okayed Redfall. They wanted to launch Starfield early. Yeah, I think they did too, and I think they cut the legs out of it when they wanted to. They're like, yeah, we're gonna launch it, and Microsoft's like, no. Which is, if you think about the business model, it is stupid. It's like, well, if you're gonna release it on all consoles anyway at some point, then why are we doing what we're doing? Like, put it out there, like a Call of Duty, right? Let's see. Starlight says, hey, everyone else hates this video games, but loves the games. Let's see. Altern says, me at work every day. Another day in this shithole. I added the shithole part. Mo says, I'm so fucking tired of pizza. Pete Hines is already tired of being a yes man. Maybe it was it. I mean, it sounded like, again, from an article within the article of the thing, I would have to hear Pete actually say it himself in context, but it sounded like he was okay with Todd. He didn't like resent Todd or anything like that. But is Todd a yes man to Microsoft? And is Todd surrounded by a bunch of yes men? Snarly says, like it's definitely an easy gig to head up the PR for some of the best and the most popular games and run their own. I don't know if it's easy. He was given the golden parachute and took it, which is fine. Wasn't it really? He doesn't get golden parachute. CEOs get golden parachutes. Ray says, Pete's angry at Microsoft, yet I don't see him complaining about all the time exclusives on PlayStation. I don't think, but I don't think he would be angry at that. Do you know what I'm saying, Ray? He's angry because he was working for Bethesda for 25 years. Bethesda put their games out everywhere. It was when they got bought out, they probably said some stuff in the beginning going, hey, yeah, this is going to be better for you. And then it wasn't. And that's when he was just kind of like fed up. Because again, he's not part of this company that was self-sustaining anymore. Now they're part of under someone else's parenting. And the parents were like, yeah, you're going to do this. And they're like, fuck. Right? Like, that's the reason. Altern says, don't worry, 30. I didn't add it because I know YouTube will censor the message. It's fine. I'll say it. They'll probably, push down my impressions on my video out there anyway. Right? I think he was told, because when there's new people, this is what happens all the time. Like, look what's happening with Disney right now, right? They weren't supposed to have a new CEO until the end of the year. So there was things that were okayed going through. But now Josh D'Amaro is coming in and going, no, that's canceled. That's canceled. Like, you had a job and now you don't have a job. Or you were doing one thing, but now you're told different. And you're like, what the hell am I supposed to do? So that's when it starts to irk people at companies. When Pete Hines is there saying, hey, you're ahead of this. Now we're in, hey, by the way, we're doing this. And he's like, well, I don't want to fucking do that. And they're like, well, it doesn't matter what you say, Pete, because we sign your fucking check. Big Mo says ZeniMax needed to be bought. They were tanking. So, you know what I mean? I mean, look, why do people sell? They sell because they're either done with the company or it was too good of money. And they're like, I can become rich off of this. You know what? Sure, why not? As we go from Pete Hines and we already talked about that. Now we have, what time is it? 11:50? Okay, perfect. All right, now we have this story. Epic Games is releasing a Disney extraction shooter, is reported. Okay, we also have Epic Games to release an Arc Raider style Disney game this year. Okay, this is interesting. Speaking of Josh D'Amaro. Okay, Josh D'Amaro understands the video game area where Bob Iger did not. Okay, so now we have Epic Games is releasing a Disney extraction shooter, perhaps. If you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning to noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Okay, so Epic Games reportedly being worked on my Disney extraction shooter, and it arrives this November, supposedly. Again, we don't know for sure. So for the past 2 years, Epic has been building something far bigger than Fortnite collab. When Disney invested $1.5 billion company in 2024, the deal came with a plan, a multi-game universe built around Marvel, Star Wars, Avatar, Pixar properties. Most Epic employees never knew the details, but the first game is almost done. We talked about this. I would have to go back and talk about or look it up to see exactly what I said, because I don't remember exactly what I said. But I did say, I do remember saying along the lines of, why would they make, like, if it wasn't extraction, or not extraction, a battle royale is what I said. Because why would they make a battle royale if they already have a battle royale? Why would Fortnite make a battle royale for Disney if they have a battle royale? Well, now we're in talks the last couple weeks that Disney might buy Epic, right? Now, obviously, I don't know if Tim Sweeney is willing to sell Epic, but it seems very interesting that there's talks about Disney buying Epic. It's interesting now that we see that Disney invested that 1.5. It's interesting to see that they are building some sort of Marvel, Star Wars, Avatar, Pixar properties inside the thing. So according to Bloomberg, the game is an extraction shooter featuring Disney characters battling enemies until they reach an extraction point, following a format similar to Arc Raiders. 4 current and former employees told Bloomberg that the game is on track for November launch. Through internal reviews, have raised concerns that the mechanics lack originality. Okay. I literally have a song, okay? And in the song, it says that Fortnite stole my child and that Mickey Mouse with an Uzi in the hand, okay? Like, and now we might have Mickey Mouse with an Uzi in his hand, which if you just say that out loud, it makes no sense to me that you would put Mickey Mouse with a gun in his hand. Putting guns in the characters' hands of Disney characters, even though they're in Fortnite right now, you could do the Incredibles, you can do, other characters out there, the villains and stuff. It just seems awkward. It just seems weird, right? So Epic has already committed, to at least 2 more games under Disney's deal. Through early builds, the second title receiving mild internal reviews and resources, the third were pulled back after Disney reportedly expressed frustration with Epic's release timeline. Epic and Disney both pushed back the characterization with Epic saying it's building new games and entertainment universes, Disney experiences, and Disney calling the collaboration transformational. Okay, the news comes at a rough moment for Epic. Last month, the company laid off 1,000 employees as part of a $500 million cut-costing effort of CEO Tim Sweeney, acknowledging that Fortnite had struggled to deliver consistent results each season, while Bloomberg sources said that the product also fell short of internal expectations. Fortnite Ballistics and Fortnite Festival Battle Stage shut down on April 16th, and Rocket League Racing will also follow in October. Okay, now I don't know if this article here says anything different here. Okay. Epic Games partnership led to increased Disney Plus subscriptions. Epic is reportedly banking on the comeback coming from the games development in partnership with Disney. Disney invested $1.5 billion in Epic 2 years ago, and the Disney collaboration will produce at least 2 additional games. It says we also remain focused on long-term collaboration with Epic, which continues to have strong momentum, and the work to build transformational games in an entertainment universe remains unchanged, said Disney spokesperson. As part of the agreement, content from Marvel, Star Wars, Avatar, and Pixar will also be added to Fortnite. Collaborations between Fortnite and Epic Games Store have reportedly contributed to an unexpected increase in Disney Plus subscriptions. Insider Gaming will continue to provide news and upcoming shooter as more information. So where does this lie? Like, where does this come in? Like, look at what's happening to Marathon right now. Right? Look what's happening with Marathon right now. Look what's happening with Fortnite right now. More people are losing interest in Fortnite. That demographic of people that are playing Fortnite are, and in my opinion, we're getting older, right? If you started back in 2018 and you were 10 years old, right? You're 8 years older now. You're 18. Okay, you're now in high school or about to go to college, right? Your time changes. Yes, there was kids that were 5 that are now starting to play. Right? Or they started playing in that time frame, right? My son, he started playing last year. He's 11. He started playing when he was 10. Okay? He starts playing the game. Well, now, a couple years from now, is he going to lose interest? Is he losing interest next year? They're losing a lot of interest in that group because the people that came in right when Fortnite launched are now 8 years older. So that big chunk that started with Fortnite when it came out is now leaving. And the rest of the people, as they leave, they see that the player base is dropping. Things are changing. More game modes are coming in. Fortnite's changed from what it was, a save the world game, to then a battle royale game, which is now a everything game. You have the Rock Band, the Rocket League. You got the Legos. You're getting Star Wars in. They have people making different maps and stuff. So it's like breaking up the player base, breaking up the entire what the game's identity was. And now they're in talks of they might get purchased by Disney. Now Disney's making 4 separate games. They showed this island of stuff, and we speculated back then, are they just making a Star Wars game? Are they going to make Battlefront 3? And just about 2 weeks ago, they announced and showed the Star Wars lands that are being made inside the game that come out on May 1st or May 4th or whatever it is, right? So, like, what are they doing with this game, and is it appealing? Is it going to last? Let's just say they come out with an extraction shooter like Arc Raiders or Marathon. Is there a big market for young teenagers that like Disney characters that want to play an Arc Raiders game? I don't know, man. That seems like a really specific niche of not just an extraction shooter, but an extraction shooter with Disney characters. Said by them that you're going to be good guys going up against the bad guys. So think of let's just say Arc Raiders. The Arc is the villains of Disney, right? So you're going against Maleficent and all the other bad guys, Scar and whatever else, as NPCs. Like the villains are taking over the world, and you're the good guys trying to stop them, and you're using guns. Man, has Disney fallen from the graces, where they have to look at it and go, what about if we make an extraction game and give all our characters guns in them? Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's completely whack job to think that the family brand of Disney, even though there's Disney characters in the game, and this is not the first game with Disney and people giving them guns and stuff, but taking Donald and Pluto and Goofy and Mickey, and again, maybe they don't use these characters, but giving them guns to play in a game just seems a little strange. Does it not, chat? Is that the brand that we want to give to your kids? Is Disney? Like, I'm okay with my son playing Fortnite, right? But I don't know if I'm okay with my son playing a Disney game. Like, and it's different when it's like Disney Infinity had guns. Certain characters had guns, like the characters, like the Star Wars characters and stuff like that. But giving a gun to Mickey Mouse or giving a gun to Donald Duck or Pluto just seems a little weird to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm too old. Who knows? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys think in the live chat. What do you think they're going to make? Do you think they're going to make an Arc Raiders type of game? And do they make let's just say they make an extraction game, but it's just Marvel based with all the Marvel characters inside the game? Does that make it better with the different powers? Maybe that would be interesting, right? They make an extraction. You're just using the powers of each of the characters instead. Maybe that'd be a weird thing to balance, but maybe if it's a PvE extraction where there is no PvP and you're going up against just the bad guys and stuff, perhaps. Let me know in the comment section. Let me know in the live chat. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. And if you like what I do here, check out some other videos. Thanks for watching. Altern says, yeah, I bet something that happened behind the scenes we'll also never know unless we also get to podcasts like Jeff Kaplan is also asked Starfield NPCs. Ass was also small by. Did you see that tweet? I posted the tweet of that where someone wrote an article about the butt of Tracer, and then I had one person tell me that I'm taking it too seriously, and I'm like, if I'm gonna do an interview with somebody, right? I don't care what happened 10 years ago about Tracer's butt size. Like, you could have asked the dude about anything from his new game. You could have wrote an article, even if you didn't even talk to him. You just heard him talk about that when he was playing his new game. How about talk about his new game instead of talking about a virtual character's ass from 10 years ago? Titan says money extraction. Disney Plus extraction equals worst game ever made. Altern says, what game will they copy this time? They copied PUBG for BR. They copied Arc Raiders Escape from Tarkov. Marathon? Maybe. Altern says Rocket Racing will close down soon, so that's no longer counts. Well, October. The point still stands. There's a whole bunch of different game modes inside the thing. Jesse Max says 30. So what, Disney's making an extraction shooter, killing other Disney characters that is not very Disney friendly. Disney, how dare you? Yeah, it's just weird. It's just weird. El Dente says Bambi's mom dies in the movie. Yeah, but she didn't die by, Donald Duck shooting her in the face with a sniper rifle. Do you know what I mean? Mickey, here's a mouse tool for later. Pulls out a Glock. Yeah. Altern says, oh, I want to play a game where I'm Buzz Lightyear. Buzz Lightyear's actually in Fortnite. I saw a trailer. Buzz Lightyear and Mufasa with a gun going against Maleficent and then the evil witch from Snow White. Yeah, it's going to be great. Hero extraction like High Guard. Yeah, that's what they're going to do. They're like, did you see how good High Guard did in Concord? We should make a game like that. They're like, Are you sure? They're like, yeah, we're positive. We're positive. Well, here's a good extraction game. Are you ready? Here's the extraction game. You don't use the characters. You make a custom character inside the new Disney extraction game, okay? The extraction game is your family is stuck in Disney World, and you're trying to get out of Disney World, and all the characters are trying to stop you, so you have to assault the characters to get to the front gate. You're stuck in the back of the park, and you have to try to figure out how to get to the front while you're fighting all the Disney characters. That's the extraction. You're out of money, and they're all asking for money, and you got to try to get out of the park. That's the extraction shooter that Disney should make. It's a 4-player co-op game, Extraction, where you're just trying to get the hell out of Disney. Fantastic. Yeah, Disney Raiders, Disney Thon, Escape from Disney. Yeah, I think we're on the right ballpark, Altern. You got to figure it out. I just don't know where they go with it. Kingdom Hearts Extraction. Hard difficulty, change to easy, and you're in an IKEA. Like, what do they do? I'm confused if it's an Arc Raiders type of game. So is the Arc the bad guys? Like, for Disney? Like, obviously the Arc is the bad guys. What I'm saying is, if they make an Arc Raiders type game, it's an Extraction. Instead of floating drones, it's the villains? And what would you do with the loot extraction anyways? It's like you can bring that to BR mode. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know what you would do. Like, what are you getting and what are you extracting? Maybe you extract characters. You have to save characters. Maybe that's what you got to do. Maybe you got to save characters from the villains. I don't know. It makes no sense. Like, what is the concept here? They can use the Heartless from the Kingdom Hearts. I just don't know what you're extracting. Find costume pieces to unlock characters. So, okay. So what you're saying is, like, are we characters or are you just normal people? Or do they give you the regular crew? So let's say you start off, again, we know nothing about this game. We're making everything up as we speak right now. Okay. An extraction shooter, PvE, let's say. Let's not say it's a PvP. Okay. Just PvE experience. Let's say you start off as the main Mickey Mouse Club. Mickey, Donald, Goofy, Pluto, Minnie Mouse, whatever. Okay, so you have like 5 or 6 characters to choose from in the beginning. The original cast. Okay? And then you find bits and pieces of other characters like Buzz and Woody and, you know, Incredibles, and you can unlock those characters. If that's the case, though, how do they make their money? Remember, they got to make money somehow. They're not just selling a game. Right? They're selling a game mode in a game that already exists. So is it a standalone game that they're charging for? Or is it a free-to-play game that they have to charge? So if I'm saving the characters to become the characters in the actual game, what am I paying for? Like, what are they going to charge for microtransactions then? Altern says, okay, guys, I need the poison apple to finish this mission, to get the next level and finally build my Bambi sniper. Jesus Christ. Like, yeah, what is it? I don't know. El Dante says, no. They give you a token to unlock one of the first 10 characters out of 50. So can I purchase more tokens, or can I earn the tokens in the actual game, or both? It's just a real grind fest. Oh my God. This sounds horrible. This sounds horrible. Like, what are they making? Because in Fortnite, you're paying for the cosmetics, right? You're paying for the cosmetics, or you do a battle pass. Maybe that's what they do, right? The battle pass for the Disney game is the characters that you can unlock only during that time frame. But what are you playing if you don't have a battle pass? Like, I just don't. I don't know what their business model is. I don't know what their business model is. And then, considering majority gamers are boys, and men, and you're making a Disney game, an extraction shooter, by the way, how many girls are going to be playing and how many boys are going to be like, I want to play as Princess Elsa? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. You could buy a currency of $4.99 and can be converted to the character's coins. But the coins are worth more than 2 packs of coins. So you have to buy 3. Oh, the dark pattern thing. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that happening. You got to bring back 5 strands of Rapunzel's golden hair to build a grappling gun. Oh my God, Altern, you're going down. Like, you know what? I think you're right. I think they're going to make it super grindy. Super grindy. Jesse Max says, it seems that Disney is pushing away from kids-friendly. They're pushing now, making the adults audience more than kids-friendly stuff. It's the way to me. Did someone say play with Princess Elsa? I did, yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? Get your head out of the gutter, okay? See? We're talking about video games. Like, what is the Disney extraction game? I just don't see it. I don't see it. Ooh, what's this? Don't miss Hell Let Loose Vietnam feature in the Galaxy Showcase on Thursday, April 16th, starting at 12 p.m., 3 p.m. Eastern. Oh, Galaxy Showcase this Thursday. They're going to show Vietnam, Hell Let Loose Vietnam, Thursday. Altern said, you got to go to Elsa's castle and extract her her thong, and now the game is called Disney Thon. Boom. You're welcome, Tim Sweeney. I mean, book it. Maybe Arc Raiders, but with Donald and Mickey. Yeah, but what are you doing? Like, let's just go by what they're saying, Tarnish. It's Arc Raiders, but with Disney. So I'm going into the park, and I'm finding teddy bears. And I'm finding different stuff. And what am I using that for? To make guns? To make, like, what Altern's saying? Like, to make the sniper rifle or to, you know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Like, what are they doing? It makes no sense in the Disney realm. No, they wouldn't do that. For the Vietnam stuff, no, they want the chaotic stuff to be in to be on one side. They did say for Vietnam, yeah, you'll be able to plant traps and be in the ground and stuff, where the other guys have boats and helicopters. It'd be interesting to see what happens with the Vietnam stuff. Tartar says it's Disney 30. Don't count on to be succeeding. No, I get it. I'm just saying, how do you make the Disney brand into Arc Raiders extraction? Oh God, there's a new article. We'll have to read this tomorrow. Todd Howard came out in an article and said, he says, Todd Howard saying Starfield's New Game Plus was misunderstood and defends Bethesda. This man has to defend everything. Let's see what else is going on here. From stepping up into the plate and covering the field on the show, the play. Oh, MLB. Yeah, okay. They're just advertising MLB The Show. Sales must be really low. How many people didn't even know that baseball season started? We got James Bond news here. We're not going to read it today. I'll just give you a little tease. Well, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, or not next week, down the week. First Light story spoilers surface through Indonesia's rating board. Uh-oh, maybe the story sucks. Maybe we'll find out. Stay tuned. New Metroid Metro being shown off this week. 2039. There was rumors that Fable delay rumors. Paul Tassi has an article saying they deny Xbox shoots down Fable delay rumors. Must dodge GTA 6. So we'll talk about that maybe tomorrow. Although this is put me in the room with them. I'll get it working. Todd Howard on defense. Song coming soon. Perhaps. I'm working on a couple different songs right now. Maybe we'll add that to the list. He is Bethesda. He's just defending himself. Altern says, then this is also the release. He also not fired you to spread your ideas to the rest of the studio. Jesse Max says, 30. I hope that it's better than the first game of Hell Let Loose. I'm talking about the game mechanics. I like Hell Let Loose game mechanics and stuff. It's just a slower paced stuff, but it's not meant for everybody. That's why it's a small player base. I like Hell Let Loose a lot. Speaking of, like, in the beginning of the show, we talked about Marathon being boring to watch. If you don't know what the fuck's going on in Hell Let Loose, it's very boring to watch. A lot of running around. But if you're playing the game, it's a completely different experience, right? I would assume that's what Marathon is when you're playing it. Hell Let Loose is a very, very good game. But it's also a very finite amount of people that play that game. Successful for them. Oh, man. I got to scroll all the way back up or down. Let me see what I got here. What else we got going on today? Pragmatica's on the marketing tour. It's got an 8. IGN gave it an 8. I have no interest in Pragmatica. I'm not saying it's bad. I have no interest in it, though. We'll probably watch a review of it when it comes out. Hold on. Let's see. There's another PC Gamer has a cook up a Disney extraction shooter suggests the staff are lukewarm on it, are not reflective of the ambitions of the Disney collaboration. Okay, let's see if they say anything else on here. So the Bloomberg description situation not reflective of the ambitions of the Disney's collaboration. We are building a new games entertainment universe of Disney experience. But whatever Epic staff love call of goofy Warzone or not, it's not only Disney's shaped basket that the company is putting its eggs in. The extraction shooter is tipped to be the first Disney/Epic collab to break cover, but Epic is geared up to produce at least 2 more after that. The details of those that's also saved the second game are apparently also earned internal reviews. How much room there will also be left for room for extraction shooters, but I also cop to the fact that they also rapidly aging millennial man who's spending most of the time thinking about how good the uplink was and perhaps is far more. Yeah, it's just weird. The audience, I don't know about the audience about the extraction shooter for Disney. It's very, very strange. Very, very strange. Pragmatica reviews right now. 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 9.5. Okay. I don't like 10 out of 10 because that seems like not saying you can't have a 10 out of 10 game, but that's a lot of 10s. So you go. If you're hyped on Pragmatica, hey, poor player, 10 out of 10. Game spew, 10 out of 10. Region free, I don't even know these things. Radio times, 10 out of 10. 4-player DE, 9.5. Loot level, console creature, 9. GameSpot, 9. Critical hits, 9. Day 1, 9. Final weapon, 9. Game line, 9. Gaming Bible, 9. The Gamer, 9. Push Square, 8. VGC, 8. And IGN, 8. So there you go. It's a lot of 8s and higher. It's a lot of... They're pushing very hard on the marketing on this game right now. GameSpot's running with a Fable reboot could be delayed to 2027 amidst concerns about GTA. That was 1 hour ago, and then Paul Tassi wrote an article. Well, maybe we'll take this and we'll bring this up tomorrow. We'll take that and talk about that tomorrow. Dude, full out blitz for Pragmatica. When does it launch? Is that tomorrow? Does it launch tomorrow? When? Hold on. When does it come out? 17th. So it comes out this week. So I have a question, chat. I have a question. And I'm not putting any shade towards Pragmatica in any way, shape, or form. It's more of the industry that I'm about to talk about. Okay. Why is it that certain games that don't get any acknowledgement up until a couple days before is the end of gaming? Like, there's no review copies or anything like that weeks before, right? No one talks about it. No one says anything. But now Pragmatica comes out just 3 days from now. Now they're talking about reviews. I'm sure the reviews will be popping up on YouTube if they're not already there. And that's okay, right? Why is that okay, but the other ones that do it is not okay? Double standard, is it not? Again, no shade to Pragmatica. Right? Everyone's like, oh, we're like 3 weeks out and we still haven't heard anything about this game. Bad. We're 3 days out. We just started hearing stuff about, and everyone's like, it's fine. Everything's fine. Titan says Capcom's firing all cylinders. Sure. I just want to know why one's okay and the other one isn't, when it's doing the exact same thing. What are they saying now? They're not saying anything now. I'm asking a question, just enough. What I'm saying is, why is it when a game doesn't get talked about right up to launch, it's a problem? Pragmatica wasn't talked about at all. No reviews, no nothing. Like the last gameplay we saw was months ago. 3 days before launch. Now, obviously, it's a full-out blitz. Don't get me wrong about that. But that's okay. But other games that do the exact same thing, where they do a full-out blitz just a couple days before, is a problem. Mr. Z says, 30, don't you need to have actual standards to then have double standards? It's true. You do have to have standards. I'm just saying it's just weird. Toxic Commando, the public test server is live for Toxic Commando. Try out our upcoming Insane difficulty, available now for your Steam library. Okay. How's that game doing? Is that game doing good? What is this? Asher Creations. The flyover shutdown of $3.2 million Kickstarter MMO Asher Creations. Okay. Let's see here. Pragmatica is going to be amazing, no doubt, in my mind. That might be the case. I'm just saying, why is it that when other games don't show until days before launch, it's bad, but when they do it, it's okay? That's all I'm asking. Let's see. Toxic. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. Yeah, bro, that's not good. Yeah, that's not good for Toxic Commando. Jesus. People played it and they're gone. They're gone. 1,800 people. When did it come out? March 12th. So we're 1 month in and it's done. If a new game you just made people don't talk about and before launch, that's a problem for your studio and a company. But that's not what I'm saying, Jesse. What I'm saying is if a company gets talked about like months ago, they don't say anything until 3 days prior. We have double standards because there's certain companies that do that, right? They don't say anything until right before it launches, and that's bad. But then when people like a game, like Pragmatic, right? It comes out 3 days before and everyone's fine with it. That's what I don't understand, right? Just take Crimson Desert for a second. Crimson Desert showed so much leading up to it. They showed so much gameplay, so much stuff. Will Powers went on so many different podcasts talking about stuff, and people were like, I don't know about this game. I don't know about it, right? Then there's other games that don't show shit. They're like, something's wrong. Nope, there's nothing's happening. And then all of a sudden it shows it 2 days, 3 days before, and everyone's like, this looks iffy. But when someone likes a game, when someone's interested in the game, they're like, oh, it's fine. They didn't show anything. It's Capcom. Capcom, it's a banger. Like, why is that? You're not listening to what I'm saying, Travis. Other companies show stuff, and then they don't show anything until 3 days before, the week of, and everyone's like, I don't know about this. And then when this one shows it, like, oh man, it looks so good. Like, they have no problem that they wait till the week of launch to show a lot of stuff, but they have problems when other companies show stuff right before it comes out. I'm talking about very specific scenario here that's happened plenty of times before. Hell, I think it even happened with Toxic Commando. Right? They didn't say anything for months and months. They showed stuff, but then leading up to it, they're like, oh yeah, here's the thing. Some people don't show any reviews until the day of.
For Toxic Commando. The Travis curse remains.
All right, let me see. Yeah, today is the review for Pragmatica. Let me see something. Let's see. Recently uploaded. Filtered. This month. No, because I can't, because all the videos are coming this year, this week. Can I not do custom? Because now it's just showing everything from today. Yeah, I can't see it. Everything else is basically 1 day now. 1 month ago, their own Capcom showed. All right, well, let's look at that. Let's go to Capcom USA for a second. videos. They showed it 1 month ago, and before that, they showed it 2 months ago for 1 minute 49 seconds. Let's see what that video had for. 12,000 views. That's not very good. That's not very good. 12,000 views for that trailer. The last trailer a month ago, 51,000 views. Okay. And 4 months ago, 7,000 views. This game seems like it's up in the air here. This is the main Capcom channel. Pragmatica 4 months ago, 22,000 views. 4 months ago, after that, Hands-On Impressions, 7,000 views. There's only one video that broke over 50,000 views, and that's the one from a month ago. I hope that translates better for them. I don't think they need to make a lot of money, though. I'll be honest with you. Let's see. Pragmatica budget. Doesn't show it. Don't even talk about it. So hopefully their game didn't cost $100 million, or if it's like $50 million and stuff like that, it only needs to sell 1 million copies and stuff like that, then I think they'll be good. I'm sure we'll find out. Look, I hope it does well. I hope it does well. I'm just asking why certain games get a pass while other games don't. That's all. Let me see the. This is what system is it coming out for? Is it coming out for all systems? Yeah, it's coming out for everything. All right. Let me go to, yeah, even the okay, the main trailer on PlayStation is 630,000. Okay, that's much better. That's much better. Even IGN's trailer didn't get that much. So PlayStation 500,000. Okay, that's much better. Oh, a month ago, 26,000 on PlayStation as well. Yeah, I don't know about. We'll see how this game works out. Thank you very much for the $2 super chat, by the way. Okay, sorry about that. All right, it's 12:30. We'll be back tonight to play some video games. We'll probably play some more Crimson Desert this evening. Tomorrow, we'll be back for the daily grind at 10 o'clock in the morning. And then we'll be back tomorrow evening to play some Winrose, probably. If not, we'll play more Crimson Desert this week as well. I do appreciate it very much. You guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. I do appreciate you for coming out, hanging out with us for a couple hours of your day. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.
No pre-order, no day one, no full price for a half-ass game. No. Hot trailer cinematic life, next gen promise, same old grind. 60, now it's 70, but they want 100 broken lawns, but patches arrived. One crash service dead, give it time is what they said. Collector's box empty inside, just a receipt and corporate pride. We waited years, you shipped it rush, minimum effort, maximum trust. You lost the crowd, you lost the faith. We learned the hard way, never again. No pre-order, no day one, no full price for a half-ass game. Finish the work, earn the pay. We're not your beta test today. No pre-order, not this time. Yeah, roadmap promises season pass. Cut the content, sell it bad. Day one DLC on the disc. Tell me how that makes sense. Review embargo, influencers paid. Best ever while it melts your frame. Refund window already closed, but the store page still says go. You call it loud, we call it broke. Ship it early, hope we cope. But gamers talk, receipts stay, and word travels faster than your PR. No pre-order, no day one, no full price for a half-ass game. Finish the work, earn the pay, we're not your beta test today. No pre-orders, no day one, we're done paying just to wait. Oh, respect the player, not the stock. Stop chasing trends, start shipping rock. Quality first, then maybe we'll talk. Until then, while it's locked, yeah. No pre-order, no day one, no full price for a half-ass game. Build it right, ship it done, earn our trust, or you're not getting one.